welcome to DCU Daily, the final day of the week. Today is Friday after a little break yesterday. We are back. We are here. We are full throttle into the world of DC. But before we get into that, we are here to talk news. Of course, as the days go by, more and more people seem to be leaving this mortal coil. So unfortunately, we will be talking about another unfortunate passing at the start of the show. But don't worry, after that, we will be getting into box office. We will be talking then MCU Weekly, mainly Daredevil Born Again, as it just started. Then, guys, we still got a glaze Project Hail Mary because, best movie of the year, maybe. We'll see. Well, until Werewolf comes out, but that's not a ways away, so, Then we have a bit of MovieTalk Madness. We're going to be talking about Netflix hiking their prices up again, which is, honestly, guys, just go to Pirate Bay at this point, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Then we have some Super Mario Galaxy talk, and then a couple things in regards to, why Dunesday is more problematic than ever before. We've talked about this a couple times, but now we're talking about it again. Another problem has come up. So we'll be talking that. And then, of course, in light of the season premiere of For All Mankind, we will be talking a little of that today on what the plans for the future will hold after the premiere of Season 5. And then, of course, a couple other things in regards to Star Trek, Harry Potter, as well as Taylor Sheridan. Then we have our quick hits, probably the longest quick hits we will have ever. Dan was just constant with those links. So we're like, you know what? We're going to be talking about all sorts of things in those quick hits. Probably going to be an hour-long quick hits, but don't worry. We'll get through it. It'll be okay. Then finally, to wrap everything up, not a ton of DC news today, but we have a couple links in regards to comics, in regards to, a little bit of DCU stuff, as well as some other things here and there. But for the most part, quick. And then we will end it with a Q&A session, and then we will move on to Fancast Friday. And what's that about? Well, you gotta wait and see. But until then, we have to make sure our boy is indeed Knuff. Is he Knuff? We think he is. So let's start the news intro and be Knuff.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Corbin.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh boy, let's get into this, guys. Of course, I'm your host, John. Lovely to see you all on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. We already have a couple people in the chat. Caleb, always coming in, trolling everybody. Monique with her delicious dinners. Peruvian Mayacoba beans with homemade Cheesecake Factory brown bread. Bruh, like, come on now. I'm a Tony. Did somebody say cheesecake? But yes, we have D. Cole in the chat as well as Steven Ortega. Thank you all for joining us. But you guys aren't the only one joining us. I'm joined by Dan today. Yes, here you are. Dan, how are you doing on this wonderful Friday to finish off the week?
I'm good. I was not feeling particularly well yesterday, and slightly better today. But it's a big news day. It's a Friday. We got all your questions for the Q&A session. Excited about that, and of course, a lot of news to get into. Like you said, the quick hits. There will be a lot of them today, because And that's not because we don't have a ton of other news. We have a lot to get into. So, yes, I am very excited, and I'm sure it's gonna be a packed show. DC, Marvel, and the lot. So, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
got Justin Geeky guy in the chat. Tom King, Denny O'Neill are garbage. All right,
You
thank you for the super chat.
keep Denny O'Neill's name out your fucking mouth. How fucking dare you say Denny O'Neill is fucking garbage? How dare you fucking share a sentence with fucking Tom King of all people?
Hey,
That's
Steven.
like denouncing Keanu Reeves. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
We're gonna be
not
talking.
Denny O'Neill. Okay, you get a pass, but like I was hovering over that ban button, motherfucker. Don't even if it was a typo, I should fucking put you in timeout for a little bit.
We got Kyle. Hey Kyle, how you doing, man? It was a misunderstanding. Don't worry, Caleb. It was a misunderstanding.
How do you
It was a
type
typo.
out Denny O'Neill instead
That's
of
actually-
Dan DiDio?
I'm same. I don't know how autocorrect would have hit. I should have. My question: which chain restaurant has the best bread? Texas Roadhouse has the best bread. Monique, I think you answered that question. That there's just I've tried their bread. I've tried other bread. Their bread is better.
Sorry,
So,
geeky guy. Even if it was a
that's
typo,
just-
I'm putting you in timeout
yeah.
for now. I'm sorry. Like that.
What?
That's
Dude!
consequences. I don't care
What?
that it was like the fact that you said it, but the thing is, it was in a super chat. That makes it worse. That makes it worse. I'm sorry. I gotta put you in the timeout zone. That's a pretty big typo, and I don't know how the fuck you O'Neill versus DiDio. Like I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. I think you would even agree with me that that's a consequence you need to live out. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, speaking
Anyway.
of Khan, we actually have some Star Trek stuff. William Shatner himself chiming in on the franchise. But yeah, John, why don't you get us
Denny
going with the
O'Neill
news?
literally made every comic book character he ever fucking wrote for more interesting. He made he made Batman more interesting. He made Green Arrow more interesting. He made Green Lantern more interesting. He made The Question more interesting. Like, come on now. Like the man had a hell of a run, like from like the 70s to his death, essentially. So, I'm just saying, bro, like come on, man. Come on. Even if it's a typo. I know. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's move on a little bit. I think Dan's taking a call right now. So we will move on. The first bit of news that we have, a little bit sad, but we have to talk about it. And that is James Tolkan, not Tolkien, but Tolkan, who famously played Strickland in Back to the Future, as well as reprising that role in sequels as Ancestors and Descendants and all that. And then he was also in Top Gun. Very sad day. Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time. Strickland was always a character that that you kind of love to hate, asshole principal, asshole teacher, that very very he was good at playing bad guys, like Dick Tracy, and being in Glenn Ross on Broadway. So he left a hell of a legacy, playing one of the most hateable characters in sci-fi comedy history. So there is that. A damn shame, but he was 94, lived a nice full life, lived a nice long life, and he never had hair. And as Marty McFly would say, me and my family quote, Jesus, didn't that guy ever have hair? But but yeah, good hateable villain character. But yeah, our R.I.P. Barry Caldwell. But yes, Back to the Future is a perfect movie. I know you don't agree on a lot of things with Quentin Tarantino, Caleb, but I think you'd agree with him on that. You're a slacker. Yes, slacker was put back into the, etymology of that time because of, Strickland. But it just happened. Like literally, it was like an hour or like 2 hours before we started. I saw it. Like I saw somebody post about it. I'm like, okay, and then I threw it into the into our Slack, and it was like about around 8 o'clock, which was about 3 hours ago, I think, around that 7, 8 o'clock. So it's fairly new. It just happened a couple hours ago. So he passed away on Thursday. Passed away yesterday at Saranac Lake, New York. A family spokesperson announced. I don't think it says what he passed away of. But he was in a lot of roles. Donations in his memory can be made to your local animal shelter, animal rescue organization, or humane society chapter. So if you want to, remember him properly, donate to your local animal shelter. So that will remember what a great actor he was. So yeah, Wait Until Dark. Yeah, I forgot. I remember when I was doing a review of Wait Until Dark, I remember reading up on that. I forgot about that. Um, but um, but yeah, what a phenomenal actor. Played a great bad guy. Apparently, Dash Crofts also passed away. Jesus Christ, of Seals and Crofts. Holy shit. I didn't realize that either. So he passed away as well as Chip Taylor. Jesus, so many people are passing away. Gosh darn it. Anyway, James Tolkan, very, very sad. Did he ever have hair? Um, um, yeah, and apparently from Dash Crofts too. Fuck, shit, Chip Taylor. Goddamn, people are dropping. But I mean, people we lived with in the like in the 20th century, they're getting old now. So they're going to be passing away. More and more are going to be passing away, which is sad to see. But it's part of life. It's as long as it's more people like James Tolkien, who passed away, lived a long life at 94, instead of Eric Dane, who passed away of illnesses at the age of 54, which is not great. As long as they live full lives, they're older, I think that's a little better life well lived kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I Barry Caldwell, he worked in many cartoons. Gotcha. But sad to see, but we have to talk about it because he was an important part of film history. So, but speaking of film history, we are talking about film future, and we got to talk about the box office, of course. So with that, for Project Hail Mary, it's orbiting $46 million this second weekend, and They Will Kill You, a smaller horror comedy, action comedy, will be $5 to $6 million in in the box office. So Project Hail Mary, um it's cruising to a second Friday of 12.9 million at on its way to a $46.8 million second weekend, off 42% from its first term, which is like you think is a big drop, but like I would say I remember like the lowest I've seen was like Sinners, which was in the 30s. 40s, that's a good number. Like usually like when it's a bad movie, it's like 70% drop. Usually for good movies, it's like 40s, maybe 50s is usually the drop. But so 42% that low is actually very good. Yeah. Yeah. Also, hello, Movie Spud. Um, that's good. That's really good. That's better than the second frame of Doom Part 2, and it gets the Ryan Gosling movie to a 10-day of $156.5 million, which, is right at the cusp of 157.2. And Project Hail Mary gets to keep all the PLFs and IMAX screens. Don't be surprised if the pick produced by Amy Pascal and Gosling hits 50 million in week two, because in weekend two, because remember, this is only a projection. We haven't obviously gotten there yet. So with that, so then second for the frame goes to Disney Pixar's Hoppers, which is 2.6 on Friday, and 10 million, which is 44% drop, and a running cume of 136.3, which is really good. Then we have Durandar, Stan, we're here, he know how to pronounce it. The Revenge, which is around 5 million with a cume of 23. Then you have They Will Kill You, which is 5 to 6 million. Reminders of Him, 40 million. Ready or Not 2, 16.2 million. So we're looking good. We're looking good for original stuff. So yeah, way to go, Project Hail Mary. Way to go, Hoppers, and even They Will Kill You, which is getting a little bit of a gross this weekend. So, but yeah, obviously that's it for box office. Just a quick little thing, because the next thing we have is actually MCU Weekly. Now we're moving from the big screen to the small screen, because we were talking about Daredevil Born Again. Charlie Cox reveals season 3 plans and drops a big Matt Murdock spoiler. With this, we have in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Cox confirmed that with season 3, Daredevil Born Again enters a new era of storytelling. I haven't read the whole thing, but no, it feels like we've shed the skin of the Mayor Fisk era. It feels like it's a new book, a new dawn, a little bit. Expanding on why season 3 doesn't feel like a part 3 to the Kingpin storyline, the actor said, it's still a continuation, obviously, but it's slightly different. I can't give anything away, but it's a new thing, which is fun. Season 1 and season 2 are part 1 and part 2. It feels that way. I think there's also a part 3 to that story, but I need to be very quiet about that. Anything that comes after each of these should feel like it's all moving in the same direction and is all part of a piece. One day that might come to an end. I don't see that yet. The Matt Fisk storyline isn't done yet. Of course, being Daredevil's... I'm sorry. It being his big bad. So, of course, there is no Daredevil without Wilson Fisk. There is no Spider-Man without Green Goblin. There is no Batman without the Joker. So we're destined to do this forever. Yeah, I tried with Heath Ledger accent, but that's okay. But yeah, so it looks like, it should be pretty obvious considering Brand New Day is coming out and that has no Mayor Fisk. So yeah, Daredevil Dawn of the Hand. Yeah. Next up, season 2, episode 2 clip sees Kingpin deliver Matt Murdock bombshell on TV. So in episode 2, with this, that's what I meant to say, in that Mayor Wilson Fisk addresses the people of New York in a television address and decides to out Matt Murdock as a hero. The Kingpin is referring to the lawyer's action in Daredevil Born Again season 1 when he took a bullet from Bullseye to stop Fisk from being killed. We know from TV spots and trailers that wanted posters for Matt are being plastered on the streets, so this is clearly a tactic to flush the man without fear's alter ego out of hiding. Talking to Myers about the physical challenges of playing Fisk, D'Onofrio opened up about a boxing match that takes place later in the season, as we saw clips of that in the trailer. I had to wear a fat suit for that, and it was really heavy. It was like 40 to 50 pounds or something. And I remember we were doing this fight scene, this boxing match scene with the guy, and I was supposed to be this big fat guy, and I was in shape underneath it, So the director was like, okay, just kind of lumber around. I was like, no, I can do this. So I started moving around like I was actually boxing, and the fat suit was flopping all over the place. It looked ridiculous. And then the guy I'm boxing with, he's like a real boxer, and he just looks at me like, what the hell is this? And finally the director goes, cut. He's like, Vin, just be fat. Stop moving like that. It was hilarious. The suit was so cumbersome, but it was fun. So yeah, so we got a little bit of bombshell for the next episode of Born Again. Yeah, that's interesting. But he tried his best. But you got to do what you got to do. Next up, with Born Again season 2 MCU timeline placement officially confirmed. Here's what it means. So with all of this, there's nothing in the movie to suggest Mayor Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force is patrolling the streets, but the battle with the Void happens fairly quickly, meaning it's feasible that they didn't have time to get there. Still, it appears the impact of the Sentry's attack won't be felt on Daredevil or the Kingpin. It's not the end of the world, and it isn't that hard to figure out. Still, for those who are eager to know where Daredevil Born Again season 2 fits into the MCU's timeline, we have an answer. Season 1 played out after Deadpool and Wolverine and Agatha all along. Meanwhile, season 2 happens after Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, meaning all 3 movies were set during the 6 months between each season. Interestingly, Wonder Man is now confirmed to have occurred after the events of Daredevil Born Again season 2. Spider-Man Brand New Day is unsurprisingly also set after season 2, which was confirmed by a pretty sizable spoiler in the movie's first trailer, as I keep talking about with the Mayor Fisk drop. Lack of Mayor Fisk, I should say. Take this with a pinch of salt, but Cryptic 4K Qual has said that while Daredevil is unlikely to ever join the Avengers, the chances of him being in Doomsday have shot up a bit. So Charlie Cox was saying all of this. I'm not going to say all of this. but just kind of going over what is going on with season 2 and season 3. So yeah, and we also have a really good poster here. So yeah, nice to see. But that's it for why are they saying what? Or they can't have Daredevil, Kingpin, and a Spider. Yeah, because it's rights issues. Kingpin can't show up in the movies because of licensing with Sony or something like that. Yeah. It's a lot harder than that. So, that's definitely the case here. But that's it for Daredevil. Now we're moving on to Secret Wars. But yeah, obviously Captain America is going to show up in Secret Wars to the shock of no one. The actor reportedly confirmed as much during a fan interaction when he said, "I start work on the next one in a couple of months. Fans will surely welcome Evan's return in Secret Wars, particularly if it means getting to see him portray evil Hydra Cap." Unfortunately for Anthony Mackie Sam Wilson, he first suited up on streaming, and when the new Cap finally made it to theaters, it was disappointing in Brave New World. Back to Avengers Secret Wars, and since the news broke, insider Cryptic 4K Qual has chimed in to tease some of those who had bigger roles in Doomsday have smaller ones in Secret Wars. That makes sense. Or the ones that don't show up at all. So, obviously, teasing everything. Affinity to the character, central role, narrative information, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. So, the shock of no one, Cap is probably going to show up in Secret Wars. That could definitely be cool, but it would have to be an old version. Yeah. So, yeah, could be cool. I don't know. We'll see. But next up, we have gross, James Marsden. But he did say he missed Hugh Jackman while filming Avengers Doomsday. With all of that, while promoting his new film, Mike and Nick and Alice, Marsden addressed Jackman's potential return to the MCU. "I love Hugh Jackman, and I love the dynamic between Wolverine and Cyclops. It was always a brotherly, healthy competition between the two of them where they were annoyed with each other. It did feel like a brotherly relationship. I wouldn't say that I was excited to slide into that role without him barking in my ear. He was missed. I'm trying to answer without saying too much." Yeah, that's my answer. Jackman has not been officially confirmed for Avengers Doomsday, but it'll be surprising if he doesn't end up being part of the film, especially after he reprised his superhero role for 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. After returning to the superhero role, Marsden said it started with a conversation, adding, "And in that conversation, we talked about what my involvement would be and everything, but I hadn't actually read the script yet." I'm surprised they did have one. So, they did have one, I meant. So that was something like, yeah, sure, yes, of course. So, yeah. So maybe this confirms that Wolverine doesn't show up in Doomsday, or just didn't film scenes with Cyclops, didn't film scenes with James Marsden. So we'll see if that's the case, especially with how, Ian McKellen was talking about, I was acting against nothing, and then, there's all that. So, because you got to keep things secret, and Russo brothers making a good movie, impossible challenge. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, a little. Thank you, Tony. A little on the nose. Well, I don't know. I'm not buying it. Marvel's known for filming stuff. Even if James Marsden literally meant this in complete honesty, Marvel's done plenty of stuff where they've shot, scenes with actors where they were gonna be in the same scene, but not, shot this. Well, they didn't, but they were in the same room, right? I think the John Krasinski cameo in Multiverse of Madness. He was never on set with pretty much most of the other actors that he was meant to be interacting with in that scene. So, and now he's not the only one. So I wouldn't be surprised if, James Marsden actually never got to see Hugh Jackman, but Hugh Jackman did film stuff and he just doesn't know about it. Or, or he does know about it and he's playing coy. So who knows? Um, besides, a lot of the rumors are talking about how Wolverine might be even show up in the movie before we get to see the rest of the X-Men. So, yeah. Thank you, Justin Geeky Guy. She's a cute kitty. You'll probably be seeing her on camera lots more in the future. She just wants attention right now. So, anyway, John.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry I missed the box office news for Project Hail Mary, but I'm sure we're going to be glazing it later. So.
Don't worry, you're not going to miss the glaze, so that's the more important part. But Avengers Doomsday official promo art reveals new look at RDJ's Doctor Doom design. So, yeah, aka what we've been seeing for the past, 6 months. So, yeah.
I mean, everything but the face, right? And even the eyes, it's kind of hard to tell if those are his eyes. Yeah. She's also known as Georgie, Tony, the gray ghost. But yes, Georgie.
She's voiced by Adam West. Anyway.
Is she? She's a pretty kitty. Are you a pretty kitty? She just looked at me when I said that, so I guess she recognizes. Yeah.
But yeah,
I get you. You think so? I mean, well, he might have multiple masks for all we know. But I mean, the fact that they're marketing it pretty. Here's the thing: we haven't seen the trailer, so until the trailer comes out, and then there are rumors that he might have different designs depending on what part of the movie. So, or there might be multiple Doom masks in the film with his disciples and whatnot. So, anyway, let's keep going. We got lots more to get into today. So, don't want to.
But next up, Andrew Garfield reveals which beloved Spider-Man No Way Home scene was fully improvised. So, reflecting on his favorite scene in the movie, the three Spider-Man discussing their respective villains, all that was improvised. Yeah, we could tell. I fucking knew from when I first watched that. Yeah, that was all improvised. The idea was...
You mean the part where he's like, is that coming out of you? Like,
no, when he's like, when they're like, I want to fight an alien.
Oh, yes, that was... Yes, I want to find aliens. Like,
the idea was you just want the three Spider-Men to talk about their experiences and compare notes. Let's do long takes and see if there's any gold in there. And there was so much to choose from. And that moment took me by surprise. I was like, oh, that was sweet. And hearing it from Toby, who was my Spider-Man growing up, it was all just so meta and so kind of personal and perfect. And I was very, very happy to be just a part of it, really. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not saying all this, but, you know.
Yeah, no, but it's great, right? Because it's the part where he's like, "The Avengers, is that like a band? Are you in a band?" He's like, "No, I was in a team." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, that's exactly the reaction that somebody who was not in the world, because because in that moment it was almost a meta reminder to me that yes, these worlds existed before the Avengers era was a thing. Like, people weren't used to superhero movies with big team ups, like. It just kind of went back to me like, oh yes, the Avengers really did break a lot of new ground for superhero movies as a whole. And obviously we've had Justice League and all sorts of other team ups since, but it's, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, even Andrew Garfield's came from a time before a lot of that. So it's a good reminder. Oh, there she is again. Hello. Okay.
Remind me of what I really am. But now we move on to the glazing, more glazing of Project Hail Mary. The first thing, talking about a sequel, because of course they got to ruin it with a sequel. So Project Hail Mary sequel not out of the question, as Ryan Gosling movie rockets into potential franchise territory. All involved, say author Andy Weir, is in the driver's seat as to whether there will be a second book and hence movie, but the stars seem to be aligning for Amazon MGM as it becomes the first new major Hollywood studio in decades.
You know what's interesting about this? Just wanted to point this out because this is a long article, so I'll try to TLDR it. But basically, I mean, Project Hail Mary crossed 150 million worldwide in its first 6 days of release, is gonna get past 200 by the weekend, and then by the end of this second weekend is gonna be potentially at 250 or more. Right? You looked at the numbers earlier, John. So Project Hail Mary is gonna be profitable most likely, and given how well it's been reviewed, it's gone to a point where literally we are evangelizing the movie, and we're not the only ones, right? It's so positive, and it just feels like it's the movie of the moment, the kind of film that everybody wants to see right now, especially considering the day-to-day reality that we're living in. But yeah, and it's a movie that's 6 years in the making, and I mean, you know what, Just Some Geeky Guy, you do you. We do not judge around here. But The other thing on the business side of it, so you guys might have noticed if you are living outside of the US, the movie is being distributed by Sony Pictures. Now, MGM back in the 70s kind of gave up during one of their initial bankruptcies. It wasn't even their first. They kind of gave up being an international distributor. And so since then, pretty much like, the MGM that we have known for decades have always worked with other distributors, other studios internationally. So domestically, they would distribute their movies, but internationally, like, Universal distributed some of the latest Bond movies. Sony was doing it before then. Warner Brothers has been distributing the Creed movies. Sony's doing Project Hail Mary. But Amazon MGM committed to reestablishing an international infrastructure for distribution, basically becoming, because that's like the one last checkbox that you need to become or to be deemed a major Hollywood studio. We haven't had a major Hollywood studio in decades. Like, when MGM kind of gave up that status, that was the last time we lost one. I think Disney was the last one to kind of get added into that list, because Apple isn't that either. Apple doesn't distribute their own movies. They have other studios do that for them, like Warner Brothers did F1, and, Napoleon and all those were distributed by Paramount, and Sony did, I think, Argyle. So Amazon MGM, on the other hand, they've brought in some executives, one of whom is putting together the infrastructure for the international distribution. So starting next year, they're going to be a proper major Hollywood studio. They're putting out like 15 movies, 16 movies this year. They have a goal of keeping up with roughly that production on a yearly basis. So you gotta, as a studio like that, be looking at opportunities to establish franchises, because they give you more of a sure thing. Project Hail Mary is that very first movie that could become that franchise. Now, Andy Weir has said that he's working on a book right now. We don't really know much about it. We know that there's a script for another book that he wrote, Artemis, that Ryan Gosling already loves. Phil Lord, Christopher Miller also want to direct it. So there's already interest in directing another one of his books that already has a script written somewhere. This article is chock full of great information. And then, he's like, I've got some ideas for a Project Hail Mary sequel, but he's currently working on a different book that, is not connected to this story, but he would love to, potentially develop one down the road. So basically, the doors are open for a Project Hail Mary sequel down the road. Andy Weir could be writing a book. Amazon's not going to be like, we're going to come up with the idea. They're like, you write a book and then we will adapt it. So that seems to be where, like, the ball's in Andy Weir's court. Ryan Gosling was attached to this project really early on when Aditya Sood, found the manuscript for Project Hail Mary before it was published. And actually, he found it for The Martian. Then Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who were still in charge of MGM before Discovery bought Warner Brothers, they greenlit this initially. And then the current person who greenlit the actual production with a budget of like $200 million, that person is the current head of, movie production at Amazon MGM. So all the people are in the right place. Drew Goddard came off of doing The Martian and then did this. So he probably could come back and adapt it again. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller have, talked about directing Artemis, which is the other script for Andy Weir, and so they would be interested. Ryan Gosling would love to do it. I mean, Amy Pascal, who worked with Lord and Miller on the Spider-Verse movies and stuff, she actually is the one who's also behind this project too. So
rare Amy Pascal W.
Well, I'm just saying, but like all the pieces are there for this to become a franchise. Now, the ending of the book is kind of like more melancholic compared to the way this movie ends. So you come away like, oh my God, you can turn this into like a sequel. Like there's all kinds of opportunities. I said, when you have when you have a great idea for a story, you make it a movie. When you have a great set of characters, you make it a TV show. But when you have a great story with great characters, you can do sequels. And so here, I think you have an example of that. It's just that, like you said, John, either you leave it alone or you do it in a way that, if you're going to turn it into a book first,
it's just, I don't know what they would do rigors as a of that, sequel.
Then you can go there. So
like, I can think of two things off the top of my head, but like, I don't know.
Well, but that's the thing. Andy Weir's like, he said, look, I've got a bunch of ideas, but I don't really have any good ones. Like, I think if you go to the IGN article, there's a New York Times quote because he was asked about this. And if you search for like New York Times, I think you could scroll down. There's a quote where he was asked about like, do you have any ideas for like a sequel or follow up? And Andy Weir had a pretty good response to that. Yeah, there you go. There it is. Scroll back up. Andy Weir said, absolutely, I have ideas for sequels for Project Hail Mary, but I just don't have a good enough one yet. My next book, the one I'm working on now, is not a sequel to anything that I've written. So yeah, I mean, we shouldn't hold our breath for Project Hail Mary 2, like anytime in the immediate future, but this took 6 years to make, and in that time, Ryan Gosling went and made Barbie, and, you know, of course, going and working with Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, who were by that point in time in charge of Warner Brothers
But
Pictures.
if Drew Goddard directed the Home trilogy, then we wouldn't have gotten Project Hail Mary, and honestly, that's preferred. I would rather have Drew Goddard doing great work like this than, you know, being stuck in the MCU.
Yeah, we'll get to the Starfield Academy stuff later, Tony. Nothing here about that. But anyway, another thing, you know the studio executive who shepherded the Harry Potter franchise and then also greenlit Barbie at Warner Brothers is the current like head of film production at Amazon MGM, and she's the person who greenlit, you know, ultimately the budget for Project Hail Mary. So on all sides, from Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, who initially greenlit it at MGM and now at Warner Brothers, to, you know, the person who did Barbie with Ryan Gosling is now the evangelist in-house for Project Hail Mary. In more ways than one, there is every, you know, possible piece in place. If they want to do more, you know, in the world of Project Hail Mary, if Andy Weir's on board, because look, I'm not bringing this up for controversy's sake, but J.K. Rowling didn't write Fantastic Beasts books, but she was involved in writing the scripts and being like, you know, and she didn't create a new series of books. But you could go that route as well. If Andy Weir wanted to be like, I'll write, you know, treatments and, you know, maybe manuscripts. They don't need to be, you know, books that get released. But then, you know, we work with Drew Goddard to like adapt them into a proper screenplay. You could go that route, but I mean, it's all dependent on, you know, how much Amazon wants to push this. Of course, they've got the James Bond franchise. They've got like Masters of the Universe. They've got Stargate. They've got a bunch of other IP, you know, Pink Panther and whatnot. So, hey, Michael, how are you doing? But they could build a universe out of this. They absolutely could. So I'm just excited that, you know, there's possibilities. And what excites me the most is, if you know how Hollywood works, literally all the key pieces are in place for there to be a future collaboration. If they were to move forward with the Project Hail Mary 2, a lot of times you wonder, well, will the actor want to come back? Ryan Gosling clearly would want to. Will the writers and the directors want to come back? And even if the next thing that they do is not a Project Hail Mary 2, if they just adapt that Artemis book that, you know, Andy Weir wrote, that could be like, okay, we do that. And now by that time, Andy Weir's worked on another book as a sequel to this, then let's go back and do Project Hail Mary 2. So it's just, to me, this is really exciting. And, you know, we're going to see what Amazon MGM does with like the Bond franchise by that point in time. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for. And hopefully, Michael and everybody in the chat, you're doing good, because that's, Michael's just checking in with y'all. All right, well, John, let's keep on the glaze. Keep up the glaze. Keep on glazing on.
Skittles.
Skittles. I didn't get Skittles when I went to see Project Hail Mary, but now I kind of wanna. I got like peanut M&Ms. Pretty fun.
Yeah,
so,
I have some chips. I have some goldfish. I have some cakesters. I wanted to try those.
I have some
Oreo
Milana cookies here, so, you know, those are good.
So
I'm trying not to ruffle any snacks because the kitty here has her eyes on them, even though she can't have chocolate. So
yeah. But Hail Mary giving me the false confidence I could pull off a silly sweater next fall, and then IMAX was
Sweater
like, Rocky
season.
would 100% approve of your silly sweater. I'm sure.
Rocky, what is Skittles? Question. Yes. What is silly sweater? Question. Amaze. Jazz hands. Statement. Silly sweaters are in. Statement. You know, I'm wearing a lot of sweaters recently. I need to go find myself one of those. I could pull that off, I think.
Yeah, I think you could.
I like that whole vibe that Ryan got in this movie. It's like, looks something straight out of the 90s.
He's got like a dad thing going on a little bit.
Yeah, very much. Because even though like that's not like the vibe of his but he's a middle school teacher, so I guess, you know, he's living out the life. So yeah.
Well, not really. Yeah. He's a teacher.
Which, I mean, the way the movie ends. Look, here's the thing. I'm like, without giving away how the movie ends, I'm just gonna say this: educators in our society are very undervalued. Always have been. And our educators are like, you know, basically like, you know, they're like in some ways, you know, our parents when we were at school, because they shape us as kids when, you know, we are spending a lot of, like, kids spend what, like 8 times 5, like 40 plus hours a week at school. And so educators have a huge influence on who we are and who we grow up to be, in addition to the parents and the family that we grow up with. So the whole nature versus nurture argument, I just think like the way this movie ends is not only hopeful and, you know, just puts a smile on your face for the many reasons that we are, you know, the obvious ones. To me also, again, you know, you go back to that, you know, Ryland Grace as an educator aspect is like, because I spent a couple of summers like teaching video production to middle schoolers, and there's, you know, a lot of like just managing, you know, the ups and downs of teenagers throughout the day.
Mainly the downs,
but
lots of downs when it comes to teenagers.
Well, but you know, but there's a thing
they're almost
that
like a different species at this point, you know.
That's fair, but I'm just saying, like, if you, this is something only if you have been an educator, or maybe if you are a parent, that you would be able to relate to. There is no feeling like it when you see that, you know, that interest that you have in something that you are trying to teach and like get across to like to a kid, that when they come to you and be like, they show that spark of curiosity in return, or they get to, like, you know, they're excited to accomplish something by, you know, finishing a project that you have been working on, and they're the ones taking the initiative. That sense of like, oh, I imbued that sense of curiosity in you. There's like a certain like sense of pride that you feel, and accomplishment. I'm like, I've won Emmys, I've done like all kinds of other things, and, you know, and it's fun, and I hope to do more of that. But being an educator is a special kind of experience. That's a very rewarding experience in a way that I never quite experienced before that. So I think, like, yeah, I mean, the value of educators is highlighted in Project Hail Mary in a way that we don't really see in a lot of movies, and I think it's very underrated. So yeah, and you know what, Tony, there you go. I hope you can relate to that too, because it's this, there's no feeling quite like it, is I guess what I was trying to say. But anyway, let's keep going.
And babe, are you okay? You haven't logged a film in 3 days. Sorry, I'm watching Project Hail Mary on repeat.
I'm fine, boo. I'm just watching. That's me. That's literally me. I'm gonna be watching it for the 3rd time. So yeah, who needs to
I still need to get my
Letterboxd?
mom to watch. She's like, oh, maybe next week. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you for real? Come on, it's like the best movie ever. Why though? Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun stuff. And also apparently the first test audience for Project Hail Mary saw a 3-hour and 45-minute long version. I want to see that version. Heck, I'd pay more to see that version. I would give you all the money in my bank account to see that version.
I would too. I totally would. I mean, it's because apparently a lot of what they cut out was like stuff on Earth. Like, you know, because here's the thing. I think between you and I, we can both agree on the fact that the movie kind of skips over a lot of the sciencey aspects, because there's a lot of science they do give us, but like even then, I felt it on the first watch, and you know, I certainly noticed it on the second one. That, I mean, you know, they don't like withhold any information that is so key to the plot, like to understanding what's going on. And there's some sequences where like the movie, like it's hard to get some concepts across visually without like spending, you know, a 5-minute scene explaining like how to travel through wormholes, like, you know, in Interstellar. So there is a little bit of that, but apparently a lot of those other elements about, you know, how the humans of Earth prepared the spaceship for the mission and the research they were doing. Some of that is turned into montages, some of them is just straight up cut out of the movie. There's a lot more of it in the book, so if you want to, like, you know, get more of that you didn't get to see in the movie and you're interested, read the book or listen to the audiobook. It's all there. But I would love to see, like, you know, what they shot and ultimately left on the editing room floor. I'd like to see that, you know, added back in. If there was a 3-hour 45-minute version, I'm sure that, you know, the special features will include it when it comes out on Blu-ray, but like until then, yeah, I wish that version was available to watch. So yeah.
And then for this video, we are, you know, talking about the IMAX technique in regards to all of this, in regards to the film. And, you know, we have Greg Fraser to thank for that, because
Yes.
Greg Fraser is based, and
That dude is on a legendary
in this
run
household
right now,
So-
with the movies that he's doing. Did you listen to this, like what they're talking about? Because remember,
I kind of like
noticed,
skimmed it a little bit.
So I noticed this, like, watching the movie both tries. The first time, especially because the first time I saw it on a bigger screen than the second time. in this movie, it's kind of usually what you see is when you see flashbacks and they try to play with the aspect ratio, they just go from like a like a widescreen to like a 4:3, either Academy or like the old TV aspect ratio 4:3. In this movie, when you see like the flashback moments on Earth, they go to like this more squeeze anamorphic aspect ratio, whereas like you get more of that expanded IMAX ratio when you see what's happening, in the present day in space where he's trying to figure out the problem with Rocky, Ryland is. So I think like clearly that was on purpose. It wasn't like a projection issue at the movie theater, if you were wondering. But apparently, they wanted to kind of figure out, Lord and Miller, like how to like transition between those moments, because like all the way back, like when The Dark Knight, like they had some sequences in IMAX, and Christopher Nolan, like literally you just see the movie go from like, oh, there's a bunch more here, and then all of a sudden there's bars, and like there's some sequences you see a lot more, and you cut, and there wasn't really anything more than just simply cutting from one shot to the next, and it was noticeable for the first time, but like I mean, most people don't notice it after a while, and then it just becomes like second nature to you just viewing the movie. And then the home theater versions, I think they just standardize them in a lot of ways anyway. So, but the way they did it in this movie, Greg Fraser was like, let me take those sequences that you shot on Earth, which were like the more panoramic widescreen version. Okay. It's an example. I mean, there's other examples. It was the earliest example, but the point is, so Greg Fraser did something cool. He was like, I'm going to take that footage and I'm going to like actually run it through like a projector and then have it be photographed by a film camera, so that you add some grain and stuff, and then you can change the way it's oriented, the way it's projected, so you get these like little these light flares at the edge. I'm sure you notice it in the frames, like those black bars on the top and the bottom, it's sort of like bleeding out of it. It's not the most elegant solution, I'll be honest. I still would prefer just to simply cut back and forth. It was a little jarring at times for me. It felt like there was just a lot of extra black space on the screen that I didn't need for it to be there, but it's a cool technique, because that's how they were differentiating what's happening there in the here and the now, and what's happened in the past, the flashback sequences. I mean, different filmmakers do it different ways. Like you were just rating Christopher Nolan movies, sort of President Christopher Nolan. I mean, what was the one? Oh, it was Insomnia. No, not Insomnia. Memento. Memento has like the color and black and white back and forth, so but denoting the different parts of the timeline. So yeah, it's just the technique itself was kind of like curious that they use a film camera, and then because it adds a little bit of grain and imperfections, so it kind of like just naturally gives you a different look to the footage, although it's still like ultimately shot on digital and then run through a film camera. So anyway, but if you're like a film nerd, this is interesting information, so I'll just stop there, but cool
question. Why has this movie ignited so much online debate? I haven't seen much debate, but
I mean, I think it's a little bit of clickbait, because there's some political stuff, but I think it's in the sense of why aren't we more advanced, like more further along in space exploration. Interestingly enough, one of the books that Andy Weir has done that's currently got a script for it is Artemis, and then Artemis is actually set to launch in days' time. Artemis, the second Artemis mission to the moon, it's just gonna like go around the moon and come back, and then the next Artemis mission would put humans back on the moon for the first time in like 50 years. But I just love the fact that this movie, like I was talking about, has been so popular, and it's such a zeitgeist moment kind of a film, where people love it, the critics love it, the word of mouth is so strong. A lot of the debate online is just like evangelizing the film. They're just talking about the positive themes. Like literally, like what we're doing right now is exactly what this article is talking about, John. So, yeah. And then I've seen some people talk about like how the science-y aspects of this movie don't exactly stick one for one with the book, but I'm like, most people don't care. And this is coming from me. I care, but I'm willing to like suspend my disbelief and enjoy the movie, because this movie is so fun.
It's mainly the sciencey aspects, and a lot of stuff on Earth were cut out.
Yeah.
Like it goes into more explanation for like what led to the events of Ryland, jettisoning off and like becoming the science expert on the Hail Mary. So there's that. And then a lot of like the obscure science stuff that Andy Weir is into. So there's that as well.
Yeah. Which is, I'm fine with that, like, especially because they probably shot some of that stuff, and it's gonna make it into some special, like, features release whenever it comes out in physical media or even on Amazon Prime when it ends up there. But until then, I'm happy to not have to worry about it. Like, I haven't finished reading the book yet, so I mean, my love for the movie is the love for the movie. It's not because I'm comparing it to the book, and maybe my opinion will change once I've read the book, but I mean, I doubt it. I think the movie still works really well for what it is, and I think a lot of the debate online is just it's not really debate. It's more just it's debate. It's healthy debate, if anything. So yeah, good stuff. They feel inspired. Yes, that's right, Tony. Yes. Anyway, is that all the glazing we got for now, or is there? I think there's more. There's one more thing we got to talk about, maybe. For Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling, of course, the center. I think this movie wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't Ryan Gosling, evangelizing it before it actually, ended up becoming a movie, and then the performance that he puts in, John. So, and Gosling's been on a generational run. We talk about like guys like Timothée Chalamet and stuff, but like we have a graphic here. You look at some of his, like, just look at the last 9 movies that this guy has done. The Nice Guys, like, that movie will never get a sequel, but absolutely should. Blade Runner 2049, it's a dead franchise right now, but should not be. First Man, of course, Ryan Gosling's no stranger to being in space. La La Land, I mean, it almost won the Oscar, till it didn't. Song to Song, I kind of forgot about that one. I mean, but like, even Gangster Squad was decent. Crazy Stupid Love
was...
Come on.
That was great.
Also, Drive. I don't think enough people give Drive the credit that it deserves. The Big Short was an ensemble cast, but Ryan Gosling still did a pretty good job with it. I mean, can you go back to the first page, though? Because, I mean, look at the last few things that he's done. You got Barbie, The Fall Guy, The Gray Man. The Fall Guy, The Gray Man, like, didn't really make a lot of money, and, just kind of, I mean,
Netflix, Fall Guy was great. Like,
the movie was great.
Make money and didn't leave an impression. It was still a great movie.
Yes.
Like,
but I mean, you look at that Barbie, The Fall Guy, Hail Mary, and then he's gonna be in Starfighter, like Michael is saying. This he could be the leading man of Hollywood in a few years. I mean, if not already.
I mean, he kind of was, like, for a while, and it's just like he kind of like
you go back to
weaves and.
But it's also like you look at the diversification, a lot more sci-fi and action. But the further you go back, like clearly, like he was more of just like the romance king, as it were. The Notebook, of course. You got Stay. The Deliver. Yeah, come on.
This was the role
Half
he got
Nelson
nominated
was
for.
underrated.
This was the first thing he got nominated for, was Half Nelson.
Yeah, Half Nelson. Yep.
And I mean, I think you have also like The Notebook and shit like that. But like, I think Lars and the Real Girl was like the first thing people were like, oh shit, he can act. Shit, he can because Half Nelson was kind of this like forgotten movie. I didn't even know it existed until I was doing research for Academy stuff. That I was like, oh shit, he got nominated before Barbie. That's crazy. But Lars and the Real Girl, you and I remember when that came out, and that was like sort of this like very weird. That was one of Craig Gillespie's first movies. I think that was his first real movie because he doesn't consider that was kind of like an Alan Smithy situation. But that was like people were like, oh. Fuck, he can act. Holy shit, he's not just the pretty boy. He's, a really good actor. So, that was like, damn, okay, cool. Yeah, holy shit. And then he was just, went on to bigger and better things. Drive was, the whole literally me thing. And then now he is where he is today.
Yep. No, I
we know, Caleb. For you, we know that's relatable. Yeah, we know.
We could tier list his filmography. I think that'd be a good idea.
I don't know. I don't even know how many I've seen. Jesus Christ.
Or maybe we could do like top 10 Ryan Gosling movies, because there's at least in that graphic alone there were like 36, 27 movies at least. I think there were like 9 per page.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do top 10. I've seen 10. I've seen more than 10, but I feel like we can easily make a top 10 out of that. A little controversial maybe, but like we can easily make a top 10 out of that, I feel like. So All right. Well, that's the Glaze Project Hail Mary. Let's keep on keeping on. Let's do some movie talk madness, John. What's going on over at Netflix these days? They just walked away with $2.8 billion in that breakup fee from Warner Brothers, and they're decided to celebrate by hiking up the prices again, because it was a little over a year ago they did this, like the last time they hiked prices, but now they're going up again. $1 per month for the ad-supported tier, and then $2 per month for the premium plans. And if you have like one of those accounts where, which I do, where somebody doesn't live in your household, and you give them like an extra add-on account, but it's cheaper than getting this thing by itself. They actually up that by $1 as well. So like you can add up to 2 of those add-on household members, and that went up by $1 per. There's 2 versions of that. One has ad supported, the other one is ad free. If you scroll down here, John, like the numbers are kind of like, to me, it's like mind-boggling to think about that this streaming service alone is just right there, the pricing. So the ad-supported tier will now rise by $1 a month to $8.99, with the standard plan rising by $2 a month to $19.99, the premium plan rising by $2 a month to $26.99 per month. The company also raised the cost of its extra member fee by $1 to $6.99 for ad-supported plans and $9.99 for ad-free plans. Guess what? I pay for the highest tier of everything and then 1 extra member. So my bill for Netflix will now be $27 plus $10. I'll be paying $37 a month. $37 a month. It doesn't, I'm like, personally, is it worth it to me? Not really, because I watch Netflix less than any other streaming service somehow. Because like to me, there's a lot of just like meh stuff on Netflix, or stuff that I've already seen. Like a lot of the original IP stuff. Like I watch Apple TV way more, and Apple TV is way cheaper in comparison. Some of my key franchises like Star Trek and stuff are on Paramount Plus. Peacock, I'll go and watch like Office and just have it running all day. But it's like Netflix has stuff, but like I don't know, like I feel like some people might be considering like, now you start out at $9 a month and you still get ads. Not to mention, like, if you want to get the 4K one, I think like that's like $16 or something, 17. Then if you want to have multiple screens option, if you're like a family and you want people to be able to watch, it's going to be $20 a month and then some. That's wild. I mean, but John, here's the thing. Netflix, might actually have some justification. If you look at this Variety article, they actually put together a little chart, which I can kind of walk through. Because think about it this way. If you're wondering why Netflix thinks this is a good idea, because you might be wondering, like, why would they, hurt themselves if they feel like people were just going to start unsubscribing with this price hike? Well, I mentioned earlier, $2.8 billion they got from Warner Brothers as a breakup fee so that they can go and hook up with Paramount. They just announced they're going to be increasing their content spend from $18 billion last year to $20 billion this year. So, most of that breakup fee already is getting used up with, more production. But them raising their price, you look at this chart. This chart, basically what it does is it shows you, on a per hour viewed on each streaming service basis, what kind of value, is being provided on a dollars and cents level from subscription revenue and then ad revenue. Now notice, I mean, some people might subscribe to the ad-free service version, or some might have the ad-supported. So, that percentage varies between streaming services. But basically, you look at this, all it's doing is telling you, based on how much you pay for, let's say, Paramount Plus, versus how many hours that you watch something on Paramount Plus, how much money, and you'd look at the cost of your subscription, how much of that money is Paramount earning on a per hour basis of you viewing stuff on there, like Star Trek, for example. So Paramount's number is the highest, basically meaning that Paramount charges the most money relative to the amount of time people spend watching stuff on Paramount Plus. Then you've got HBO Max. Then you've got Peacock. Peacock is a much higher ad-supported version. A chunk of it goes to ad-supported tiers because they originally started out with ad-supported. That was the only tier before they introduced a premium version, so that makes sense. Then you got Disney Plus. Then Netflix is the lowest amongst those top 5.
Wasn't Peacock like free with ads or something like that?
Yes, and then they added a premium like after like a year of existing, they added like a premium version without ads because they sort of soft launched the Peacock streaming service. So that's why there's a lot of people who still just have the ad supported version. But anyway, the point is, basically what this chart is telling you that people watch in terms of the number of hours viewed, people spend more time on Netflix, versus the amount of money they pay. Therefore, the amount of money Netflix is earning off of you based on how many hours you spend watching it is less than Disney Plus, Peacock, HBO Max, and Paramount Plus earn off of you for watching, the amount of hours you spend on those streaming services. So it's still basically, Netflix is still the best value in the streaming game. So if you go off of, I'm sure Netflix is aware of these numbers, which is why they feel comfortable jacking up the prices, because they feel like a lot of the people that have their streaming service still get really good, they spend most of their time watching it. So they feel comfortable and they also have the lowest churn rate in the business, meaning there's fewer people who unsubscribe to Netflix on a month-to-month basis than any other streaming service, far and away. So they feel pretty comfortable that they can keep jacking up their prices and people won't unsubscribe, and it's still good value. So I get it. I'm not one of those people. I mean, for me personally, this chart might be almost inverted, but it's still like Crave is Canadian streaming service. You got Tubi. So there's lots of options.
Tubi is king. They should have bought Warner Brothers for $36.
Ow. Tubi is owned by Fox, but sure. Okay. But anyway, I mean, your Netflix subscription is about to go up by $1 or $2 a month, depending on what you have. If you have an extra household member, add another $1 on top of that. So
anyway,
it is what it is.
But next up, Super Mario Galaxy movie poster reveals first look at Star Fox lead Fox McCloud's animated debut. So yes, guys, it's official. They're planning a Super Smash Brothers movie. We know it's gonna happen. I wish they didn't reveal this, because this would have been such a cool reveal in the movie, because it's just like, imagine like this character, which is more of like if like in terms of Nintendo, like Legend of Zelda and Super Mario are on top. This is more like C-list tier, like Nintendo properties, like not like totally unknown, like like where the fuck is Captain Falcon from?
Come here. No.
F-Zero, by the way, if you don't know. That's like F tier, like nobody fucking knows that. But like Star Fox is like, it's kind of known, but kind of not really. So seeing like big fans of Star Fox and Fox McCloud as a character, it would have been awesome to be like, oh shit, fuck. But like they gotta bring the more people in and all that. So but I know this has people worried, because it's like, oh, they're bringing in too many characters, it's becoming like BVS and blah blah blah. But honestly, it works. It's the galaxy, like he's it's space, all that shit, so it like makes sense. I just wish it was saved for the movie. It's all, this is one of those things that they shouldn't have spoiled in the marketing, like, because like all the super fans would have been like, oh shit, Fox McCloud. Especially when you were like, oh shit, Glenn Powell is Fox McCloud. Holy
dude,
like, here's the thing.
Perfect.
It should have been inverted, because they revealed Fox McCloud, I think, yesterday, and then they revealed Glenn Powell is voicing him today. However, it should have been the opposite. There's like Glenn Powell is voicing a mystery character in the movie, and they're like, oh, who is he voicing? And then you get more people interested, because it's a mystery. People love a mystery, so then you get more people into the fucking seats. They're like, oh, Glenn Powell, he's a big dude. Last two movies were stinkers, but that's beside the point. Oh my god, Glenn Powell, who's he voicing? Oh my god. And then you go see the movie, bam! Glenn Powell's Fox McCloud. By the way, if that isn't perfect fucking casting, I don't know what is. That has
go to the video.
The most perfect casting of all time.
There's a video in here, the announcement video. Like, I was like, okay, I am so convinced this is perfect. Like, he literally took his Top Gun Maverick casting literally, and I love every bit of this. Like, he's not only I feel like he's not only getting cast to play this role in the animated movie. If they ever do a live action version of this, Glenn Powell would be just the man to play the role. So like, it's right there. Boom. You looking for this? Perfect. Fox McCloud. Come on.
Hell yeah. Like, not gonna lie, that's perfect casting right there. but the thing is, I don't think it should have been announced that he was Fox McCloud. I think it's just like, oh shit, he's voicing Mr. Character. And now, like, I'm even more stoked for the movie. Like, this is perfect fucking casting. It's and guys, if this is popular enough, if he's popular enough, they're fucking 100% being like, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing a new Star Fox game. That would be awesome. Or a spin-off of like, oh, we're gonna get a Star Fox movie. That would be awesome. But like, hell yeah, bro. This is Kino. This is Kino right here. This is absolute cinema. Absolute fucking cinema. I'm just saying.
No, it's perfect.
Like, I'm just saying. I don't think they
yes.
should have revealed he was Fox McCloud. I think they should have revealed he was in the movie, and then you would have gotten more people. Oh, who is it? And then you would have gotten people in it. I don't think they should have said it was Fox McCloud. But I know all the people are like super excited. Even my friend who like after one teaser trailer, which was more focused on like the mini Bowser shit. He's like, this movie's gonna suck. The mini Bowser's stupid. I hate this. I'm not gonna watch it. And I'm like, you're not intelligent, first off. And second, literally the next two trailers are galaxy focused. I don't care. I'm not watching it. This drops. I'm watching it now. Fucking okay. Like, but like that's the people love Glenn Powell, okay? Even though, Running Man hit the ground not running, and then How to Make a Killing also kind of stunk and also wasn't a box office success. The people still love Glenn Powell. It's just, he needs a win. He needs money. So that's why he's like, yo, Nintendo, you got any of them? You got any of them Super Mario Galaxy rolls for me? They're like, we got Fox McCloud. Perfect. I'm in. Let's go. Getting money.
Yep.
Give me that paycheck.
I mean,
Man,
like
How to Make a Killing. We're not that great. I need that money, bro.
Running Man was great, and if you were somebody
Running Man,
who,
it was fucking phenomenal, but it was a bomb. That's the thing.
Yeah, unfortunately. But if you were somebody who wasn't gonna be going to the movie theater to see Super Mario Galaxy next weekend, you see this news and you're like, time to go mobile, and let's go.
Here's the thing. I'm excited for this, but it's just like it's also one of those things where it's like it's so torn. The marketing, I think, kind of shouldn't have spoiled it. But then at the same time, it's also like you don't have voice actors voicing characters, and it's just like because I remember reading a story where like Anya Taylor-Joy, she's like, I threw up when I fucking after the first day of like voicing a character. It's like, yeah, because you're not trained for voice acting. Wow, not using a voice actor to voice a character in an animated film or show, and a person's not trained for that is going to get sick. It's like, yeah, of course you are. Like, well, that's just nature of the beast. Like,
if
but
you,
the thing is,
by
that
the way,
doesn't sell. Anya Taylor-Joy sells. Gray Delisle doesn't sell, unfortunately. But that's.
Well, here's the thing. If you guys want to learn more about that, there's literally a great video on our channel called, I think it's about from the time of this first Super Mario movie was coming out, and it's about like, voice acting. And if you just search for, if you also did a voice actor reacts, Andrew used to be on the channel. He did these great videos where he talks about how like, it's a lot of it is, like you said, is because of the name of the like you're casting these actors because of the name, value that they bring in, even though that's not going to drive the box office too much. Anya Taylor-Joy, people can recognize the name versus like, some voice actor that you probably have heard in a million other things and does this professionally, but you don't know who they are. So, and not only that, but like, the reason why they didn't announce Glenn Powell until now is not because he didn't get cast until recently. He probably got cast, but he probably didn't get cast not, super long ago either. Because usually for voice actors, they will cast them and be like, all right, it's an easy paycheck. You show up to the voice, booth and record your lines for a few days, and then, Bob's your uncle. And so he probably wasn't attached to this movie until maybe a few months ago, if that. So that's probably why they're only releasing, this casting announcement now, because it gives them that extra boost a week before the movie comes out. Speaking of which, John, the movie has now shot up the charts in terms of like screen share charts, which is a data partnership between Screen Engine, ASI, and the Wrap, which measures basically online interest in the conversations around certain topics. You could see, you know, March Madness is up there, Project Hail Mary is up there, Doomsday is up there, Mandalorian and Grogu, Stranger Things still sitting in second. That all of, I mean, you know, you look at the number at the very top, Super Mario Bros. Galaxy, 3.919% of the mentions, which is by far the most of any topic, is at the top of the charts, and it's rising. So this movie is going to be all the conversation next week, and we'll be here to talk about it. So yeah, I think it's a good marketing move to announce Glenn Powell joining this late. But yeah, if you guys want to check out more about that voiceover stuff, definitely search for voice actors or voice actor reacts videos on our channel. And there's a lot of good inside information from somebody who works in LA professionally, is an award-winning voice actor, Andrew. And he has his own, you know, voice acting business. If you ever want to get into that, he's a great teacher too. So, but yeah, Super Mario Galaxy, it's gonna make all the money. The early projections are looking fantastic. So, it does look hype. I can't wait to see it. I wasn't the biggest evangelist for the first one, but I have a feeling the second one will hit all the right spots for me. So
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say something possibly controversial. I think the Super Mario Brothers movie is better than all 3 Sonic movies. There, I said it. And that's saying as someone who really enjoys those movies, but like, I will say the Sonic 3 was close. But like, for me, just the Robotnik humor was so cringy a lot of the time that I'm just like, I can't give it that extra point that would have been on the same level. I'm just like, so close, but so far. Anyway. This is what happens when you give fans what they want. Although, speaking of giving fans not what they want, another Disney live-action remake, because it looks like it sucks. So the Moana trailer has fans mocking wigs and overall look, but film won't undergo creative changes. Looks like we can't bully... Speaking of Sonic, we can't bully a studio into changing things this time around, folks. So, you know... I mean,
dude,
it did make
we talked about it, like, the wig looks so bad.
But it's very close, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, everything in the social media conversation around this movie has been like, oh my god, that looks... And you called it when we first saw the trailer. Like, it looks like, he's got a bodysuit on, and whether he does or not is one thing, but also just, like, the wig looks... Like, you know when you can, like, kind of see how somebody might have photoshopped it together? Like, somebody literally took an image and just plopped it on top of the other one. It's not very well put together. It's like that. I can easily see The Rock, and if I deleted the wig, I'd see The Rock. And it's like, you know, it's... But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is it looks like they took a generic female wig and just plopped it on him. They didn't even try to... You know,
and it's not like the movie. It's not like the animated movie either. Like the animated movie,
it's nothing. It's
so much more energetic.
Animated movie has more volume to it. It's shorter.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's over. The whole point of Maui is that he looks over exaggerated. He can't exist in real life because it's an animated movie. That's the point. Animation doesn't always translate to live action. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. A lot of the time, it doesn't. Because, you know, you can get away with a lot of things in an animated movie that you can't. It's just like the way the bodies morph. That's why I love movies that, animated movies that don't have like a realistic kind of style. Like, you know, because I know that's what they're trying. Oh, look at the fucking shirt fabric. You could see the fucking little thing, lint coming off. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. I want it to look over exaggerated. I want it to look, you know, like bouncy and crazy and, you know, all that. So, you know, it's just, I want it to look like that. And this is, it looks so bland. It looks so generic. It's funny how we went from the Smashing Machine where it's like, oh, hey, look, Dwayne Johnson can act. And now it's like, oh no, he's back to ego stroking himself yet again, where he's like, I'm gonna be the star, I'm gonna fucking be in this movie so I can show off the greatness of The Rock. The hierarchy of Disney live action remakes is about to change, and it's just like he's the same old fucking Dwayne Johnson. Benny Safdie got a good performance out of him, but that we're probably not gonna be getting something like Smashing Machine for a while. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing too. I mentioned this the first time we talked about the trailer. They should have gone with the character design that was like animation enhanced, kind of like what they did with Will Smith's Genie from the Aladdin movie. People kind of made fun of it because there's a little bit of an uncanny valley effect, but I still think that what they did there with that Guy Ritchie movie was, I think, more what would have worked here, because then you can have that more exaggerated look that is meant to be photoreal, but still has, the likeness of The Rock, and he would obviously still voice the character. You could still do a lot of the motion capture for it, and performance capture even. But I think, yeah, I mean, they shouldn't, technically, I feel like this is too early to make a remake of a movie where the sequel only just came out months ago. So on that fundamental level, I don't think this movie needs to exist, at least not yet. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like them going with like, oh, The Rock's just going to play himself in live action, put a wig on it. Like, they could have, if they went the route with like what they did with the Genie and Will Smith and Aladdin, I think it would have been better. Like it may have still gone some flack, but it wouldn't be for the reasons that we're talking about it today. So anyway, I guess we'll find out how much more egregious this gets when the movie comes out.
Speaking of egregious, Avengers Doomsday, but also with Dunesday.
Can you zoom into this a little bit? Because this is really interesting. I've been sort of like, I'm
just showing people the headline here, and then I'll zoom. Remember the Zune? I remember the Zune. And they thought that was going to beat the iPod. Good times. Like this video if you remember the Zune. And I would say subscribe if you had a Zune.
Ooh.
Also subscribe if you didn't have a Zune. Just subscribe. It's,
We appreciate the subs. We will shill for those all day. But anyway, John, this is interesting because I've sort of been, I feel like I'm not the only one, but I've definitely been sounding the alarm around the idea of like guys, what they're trying to do here with Doomsday. And because like there's a lot of comparisons out there with the whole, oh, this is the same thing as Barbenheimer, right? And I'm like, and I'm not the only one to say this is not, because it's not the same thing as Barbenheimer. Barbie and Oppenheimer were going for different audiences. Barbie was for more a four-quadrant audience, family audiences, for a younger, more female-centric crowd. Oppenheimer was for adult audiences, more male-centric. And the counter-programming effect worked in both their favors. That together they almost made $2.5 billion. Like it worked out really well. But like Dune and Dune 3, Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday both have a huge overlap in their most core demographic, which is dudes, aka males aged over 25. Dudes. Both of these movies are going after the same audiences. So like in Collider is the latest of many outlets talking about it. They were saying with Avengers Doomsday set to clash with Dune Part 3 this December, fans were hoping for another Barbenheimer style moment, but the overlap in audiences and IMAX exclusivity for Dune Part 3 has complicated things. Dune has locked down IMAX screens in the US, meaning Doomsday will miss out on a wide IMAX rollout. And there's fewer IMAX screens internationally than there are in the US, but still, Dune has exclusivity for 3 weeks. So, it's going to be Dudes Day. But anyway, thank you, Tony, for that. So what's Disney doing in response? Well, they're pivoting. The studio is pushing Doomsday across premium formats. That's right, Ross. They're pivoting. So Disney is going to be putting Doomsday in pretty much every premium format that is not IMAX, like Dolby and, all the other ones, like you got UVX or ScreenX, and, we talk about the million other ones, Real D, 3D, and all that. So they're going to be targeting hundreds of high-end screens worldwide to make up for the IMAX loss. The problem there is, sure, that's, you do a tit-for-tat battle and all that. It hurts a lot of small mom and pop theater owners. There's quite a few of them out there too. And because they won't be able to, kind of argue against a, behemoth like Disney or Warner Brothers being like, well, you want to play our movie on these times, right? Like you got 6 showing times. You want to put ours on there for 4 of the 6 or 6 of the 6, right? You could do that, or maybe we don't play Doomsday on your screens. Like, these are real conversations that have happened for years and years. Disney had an outsized amount of power, especially like in 2019 and those years in the 2010s when Disney was, themselves having $5+ billion movies a year. and Doomsday is going to be the bigger of the two movies. So to me, it creates like this artificial like scarcity in some ways, but at the same time, it will cause a lot of chaos for people who are going to the movie theater because they had shortages on straws and concessions and concession lines. Like, I don't want to walk into a movie theater and wait for my popcorn for 15-20 minutes. Most of the time I walk in and I'm like, the movie's about to start in 5 minutes because I'm walking in 20 minutes late because I don't want to sit through half an hour of trailers at AMC. And now if I'm going to stand in a line for 15 minutes, I'm definitely going to miss the beginning of the film. So there's a lot of people who will, worry about those kind of things. And even if it is December and there's plenty of people going in there, between that and Jumanji coming out the week after, and it's just, to me, this is not the same thing as Barbenheimer. For them to kind of be looking at it as that way, maybe Disney and Warner Brothers, I think it's a mistake because both studios will probably leave some money on the table, or they will just cannibalize each other's audiences. And by that I mean, like, maybe Dune makes $150 million less than what would I have if it came out on its own like a few weeks before, maybe a month ago, or if Doomsday moves forward or backwards by a month or two, it could make $100-200 million more itself. So I still am on the side that yeah, the whole go early thing is one thing, but even if I go there at like 7 o'clock for a 7:30 showing, I still need do you want to stand in line for popcorn for 15-20 minutes when you go to the movie theater?
And don't get
And then you
popcorn.
walk. Yeah, but then when you walk up and they're like, well, we don't have any left, or like, oh, I wanted to get like but it's not just that. It's also like other problems, like, oh, you want to go use the restrooms. The restrooms are there's more of them are broken because people are just piling in the movie theater. And then again, like I said, the biggest argument is just money being left on the table, because like these movies will make more money individually if they weren't overlapping, because they both have the same target audience. Like the majority of the target audience is the same. I don't know. Maybe there's still time for one of them to blink, so we'll see. But as of right now, neither of them are doing it. So let's keep on going, though. We got other stuff to talk about. MovieTalk Madness.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we have TV.
Oh, that's it?
Terror.
TV Talk Terror. Moving on. All right.
So
let's get on to some TV talk.
Yeah, something that you're happy about.
I am very happy about this.
Is For All Mankind. So here we are. Boom. Talking about For All Mankind.
Yeah, For All Mankind. Kind of sad news that it's ending with season 6 on Apple TV. So it just got renewed for a 6th and final season.
Spoiler alert, they don't explain why in the article, by the way. They're like, we're just ending it. Why? Like,
they sort of dance around the subject because, so Ronald D. Moore is one of 3 creators of the show. Ronald D. Moore is no longer the showrunner of the show. The other 2 dudes, in addition to him, the 3 of them that co-created the show, the 2 of them are still running the show. Ronald D. Moore worked with them to like set the initial roadmap. I think Ronald D. Moore had talked about this a while ago, that he originally saw this running for like 7 or 8 seasons to kind of basically realize his complete vision. Ultimately, the show is going to end with 6 seasons, but the current showrunners of the show were talking about how they still feel like they're on the same roadmap, and that they're going to still largely end the show where they had talked about doing it with Ronald D. Moore. It's just that they took a slightly different road to get there. Now, I don't know if that means they cut stuff out. I don't know if that means there'll be a time jump in the middle of season 6, because each season kind of focuses on a singular decade. So I'd imagine Ronald D. Moore saying...
Well, I mean, we have the 2010s in season 5, which just premiered today. Well, now yesterday for East Coast people, but I mean and then season 6 is going to be the 2020s. It's going to be caught up. They're probably going to make it like 2024, 2025, and we're going to be in present day. So like, you can't. Well, no, but I mean, unless you invent so much stuff, but if that's like too speculative, because like you're inventing stuff that hasn't happened yet. Like at least with the 70s, 80s, 90s, you can talk about stuff that technically has happened. That's like true. Showcase pop culture and stuff. Like the other cultural elements, season like who's 7, president. Well, you could make like a season 7 maybe, but like what would be the pop culture? And that is, I wouldn't say a huge part of the show. You don't really see people watching like fucking like pop culture stuff all the time, with the only exception being, like I remember the Russian guy was watching like a David Spade show in like this past season, season 4. Like, okay, cool, yeah, the like stuff like that. But it's still important of like how the idea of pop culture. the rise of reality TV in the 2000s was a big factor in season 4, which, propelled like stuff on the moon, showcased like that stuff, which caused more people to go to the moon, which caused Toby Kebbell's character to then go to Mars because it was too. So it does affect some things. The fact that you don't have that pop culture to rely on to like help balance things out is a factor, and the fact that it is ending on season 6 I think is more beneficial. The only way I could see like the 8 season thing is if like season 6 was like 2020 to 2021, season 7 was 2022 to 2023, and then season 7 or season 8 was like 2024 to 2025. Like, oh, you have more detail to talk about this, but like season 6 makes way more sense. Plus, it's not going to go on for as long. It's not going to get as, possibility for it getting worse, because usually, more often than not, shows that stay around longer are not as good. So, and with how the reviews are kind of going with the first episode of season 5, that might be the case. This might be the first week season, who knows? But I think it's better that it is staying at 6 seasons rather than going even longer than 8 seasons, because I just feel like it's not beneficial for the show in universe or out of universe quality wise. So that's just how it is for me.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm sad the show's coming to an end. So I'm always
Right.
I think for me it wouldn't matter, like it wouldn't matter if it was, even if it was 7 or 8 seasons, if the show was coming to a complete like its completion point. So I'm sad in that sense, but it's still like they at least have a road, like they said they're largely following the same roadmap. I think Ronald D. Moore might have wanted to do like one season where they get to sort of like do a little bit of more speculative work, like when we go past our present day, do something in like the 2030s or 2040s, which still isn't too far off the mark in terms of like like we could speculate some stuff. Like you said, definitely at that point the show would be creating largely its own pop culture mythology, because you would be well past who was president. Like in the world of the show, Al Gore becomes the president in the 2000s, as opposed to George, like the whole George Bush thing that happened. But so like things, they've already like had some things like where they've made changes, but and you couldn't do some of that, or at least not in the same way. So yeah, I'm I get it, but I'm still happy that this is running for you make yeah, I know. I'm still happy that we're gonna have it for like 6 seasons at least. Hi M2G, and I'm gonna be watching. I mean, season 5. Speaking of it, John, just dropped, and by the way, they also have Star City coming out May of this year.
Yes.
So it's not like the
Star
For All
City is
Mankind
coming out
story
in May.
ends. So like they're gonna have a spin-off running, which will, I think, pick up from like where last season of For All Mankind left off, more or less, or maybe even further back, because it's the Soviet perspective on the whole thing.
Well, I thought they were going to go back
so-
kind of do the same exact thing, but it's for the Soviets, where they're going to go back to the 60s, 70s, and it's going to start.
Oh
from
shit,
there.
really? Like from the okay, well
That's
then we
what I
go.
thought
I mean,
it was
then
gonna
they could
do.
do another 6 seasons of that. Yeah, dude, go binge it, MTG, because season 5 just dropped. Actually, today, or like on Friday, season 5 episode 1 came out. I haven't seen it yet. This is one of the reviews from AV Club, and the reason I bring this up is because I will be reviewing the show episode by episode as it airs now. Season 5 has 10 episodes, John. If you go to the next, I think we actually have the episode names already. So episode
We have the
1
first
for
two.
season. The first, yeah. So that's the first light, and then you get to the hard 6, and from there you got. I mean, there's 10 total episodes. They'll be dropping them weekly, and then basically, I think this season 5 ends right on the same day, isn't it? Like if you keep scrolling, I think because May 29th is when Star City premieres, which is literally the same day as the finale of For All Mankind. So you could finish the season of For All Mankind, season 5, and then go right into watching episode 1 of Star City, the spinoff. So, and then, yeah, I mean, they're hoping to bring us season 6 for All Mankind next year. I think they're going to go into production on it later this year. So, yeah. Oh yeah, no, in the show Al Gore becomes president, and there's other stuff that change as well. A lot of it more to do with this, the space program, but then there's some other things that happen. Not going to give you any spoilers, but definitely go check it out. Apple TVs. I think this also, For All Mankind, is one of now, I think, the only 2 shows left that launched Apple TV Plus, as it was called back in the day. The morning show is the only other one that I think is still like from the day, literally from day 1 of Apple TV Plus. those are the only two shows left now. And then For All Mankind is going to be ending soon. I think the morning show is still continuing for at least 1 or 2 more seasons, so that's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
that's still kind of the
I'm looking at it
flagship,
right
so
now. Sorry to cut you off, but
yeah.
there you have an entirely different person as Sergei Nikolov. So it's assumed
For
that it's
Star
going to
City.
take place in the past.
Yeah.
So Star City.
Okay.
So I assume it's going to take place in like the 60s, at around that time. Probably, I would assume that the buildup, at least what I would want to see,
Mhm.
is the buildup of how the Russians would eventually get
In
to
the
landing on the
show.
moon first. I would I
Right.
would want to see that, like the differences, like what thing did they crack before the US did in
Mhm.
quote unquote our world, and see and lead up to that. I don't think that's going to be the case. I just personally think that would be, because we don't know that. We don't know how they
Mhm.
managed to get to the fucking moon before we did. So
We did, the
you know,
way
I'd
the
like
show
to
starts
see,
off, you don't see it. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like not really a spoiler alert, literally the first fucking 5 seconds is, you know, Ed Baldwin, the main character, watching on TV
Mhm.
the Russians landing on the moon in, I think it was late June of
Yep.
1969 instead of, you know, July like we did.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I love For All Mankind. It's one of the best sci-fi shows running today, has been for a while. Ronald D. Moore, of course, created it, also did Battlestar Galactica in the 2000s. And if you haven't already, then definitely go watch it. It's on Apple TV. And I mean, I think they have like Blu-ray versions, so you can, if you don't want to subscribe to Apple, I think you can get this, you can buy it like on physical media. I think you can, or if not, then I think you can definitely, like, you know, like, I don't know, like ride the high seas or whatever. But season 5, we'll be reviewing it. We did reviews for season 3, I think. We kind of skipped season 4. Yeah, but I look forward to doing those and having them on the channel. So if you are watching, then come back and check out my review this weekend. No worries, Tony. But yeah, let's keep going, because John, as we move past For All Mankind, we move back into talking about Harry Potter. We already did a tier list for Harry Potter movies, but of course the Harry Potter show, as we talked about the other day, just dropped their first trailer. The first season, the first series, if you go the British way, is going to be called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The trailer has now become the most watched in HBO and HBO Max history. If you scroll down here in the article, I think they give us the number. It scored over 277 million organic views across platforms, non-paid views, so like not, you know, in any of the ads, in just its first 48 hours alone. So it's now become the most watched trailer in HBO and HBO Max history, exceeding the previous record by more than double. John, the show, of course, I think to me, the biggest surprise in the whole trailer was the fact that they announced that it's going to start coming out and releasing episodes in December, aka Christmas of 2026, this year. That to me was the most like surprising part of all of this. But the fact that it's become the highest viewed trailer in the history of HBO, I'm not surprised by that, John, because it's freaking Harry Potter. This is a gold mine. There's a reason why they, you know, wanted to do this. Some of the best people in Hollywood working on anything television related are working on this behind the scenes, behind the camera, and then they have gone through an extensive casting process for everybody in front of the camera. John Lithgow playing Dumbledore will be epic, not to mention all the other actors. You know, again, it's a big franchise. Like, you know, this is one of those cornerstone franchises Warner Brothers has always had. Are you surprised to see that Harry Potter broke these records for HBO?
Honestly, I am a little bit.
Million.
Little bit. I am kind of surprised. I mean, I expected a lot, but not that many. Like, damn. Okay. Potter Fever is back in action, I guess.
I think the Potterheads are rejoicing. Like I said, dude, the fact that if you didn't see the trailer and one of your friends did, and they were like, dude, go watch the trailer and make sure you watch till the end. Christmas 2026 hit me like oh shit, because I did not think nobody thought this show was coming out this year, right? I mean, it is Christmas 2026, which probably means that only one episode is going to drop this calendar year. but you know, it's I was surprised. I think a lot of people were happily surprised, and this all lines up really well with HBO Max finally launching in the UK, and UK and Ireland. So you guys can definitely, you know, get in on the action now. And yeah, I'm personally not surprised. I mean, Harry Potter. Let's be honest. Of all the shows HBO currently has running on it, and all the shows they'll have on there this time next year, Harry Potter is the most popular of the bunch. It's the most popular IP. It's literally, you know, one of the crown jewels they've got, and so I'm not surprised. I mean, dude, they literally built a school on the studio sets at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden in Watford near London in the UK, so that the kids on the show don't even have to leave the studio backlot to go to school for the next 10 years. Like, they're putting all their eggs in this basket. I mean, you know, it's going to be breaking records. I mean, I'm sure when the premiere episode drops, is going to break like all the Game of Thrones records that House of the Dragon broke, and you know, it's just going to snowball. I mean, unless they absolutely screw the pooch on this one, which is highly unlikely, I think we're in for great fall months. Well, great winter for HBO. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for this. But yeah, let's keep on rolling.
Yeah. But very exciting for all the people excited for the show. So
yeah.
Speaking of stuff that's not exciting, is killing off Kurt Russell in the first 10 minutes. Ooh, did I spoil it?
Oh
but
no,
yeah, apparently,
no.
the
Okay,
Madison delivers Taylor Sheridan's biggest series debut ever, because you got the people with Kurt Russell, and then you killed him off in the first 10 minutes. I swear to God, I went downstairs to get something to eat, and my parents apparently, like, they just kind of incidentally are on a Taylor Sheridan kick, because it's just like he's just pumping these out like it's like he's the next Dick Wolf. So like, you know, it's just like, okay, cool, we'll watch this. And so they started watching because, you know, they also like Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And I came down, and my mom was like, John, killed off Kurt Russell in the first 10 minutes, and now they're not watching the show. They're like, they watch one episode, they're like, we're not watching the show now. Like, we wanted Kurt Russell. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer's great as well, but like, we want the both of them. We're not watching the show because they fucking kill off Kurt Russell. I'm sure like he comes up in flashbacks and shit later on in the show, but like, it was a bait and switch. You don't kill Kurt Russell. Even John Carpenter understood this. You don't fucking kill Kurt Russell, bro. Come on now.
Well, okay, so they already shot season 2. They shot season 1 and 2 back to back. I mean, there's a ticking clock on Taylor Sheridan at Paramount. We know that, right? So like, he's going to be going to Universal in a couple of years. So they're trying to, like, you know, get as much out of him as possible. They're like giving him all the green lights to do everything and anything and everything. There will be some speculation as to, like, you know, whether they want to do season 3 or not. So far, like, if you scroll down here, the Madison has delivered like Taylor Sheridan's biggest series debut ever, like better than any of the Yellowstone stuff. In just his first 10 days alone, it got 8 million streaming views globally on Paramount Plus, making it, you know, of course, Taylor Sheridan's biggest launch ever. And, you know, a lot of the audience is coming from women, you know, 35 and plus, which I'm, you know, I'm not passing judgment. I'm sure your mom like fits into that category. And yeah, according to Luminance top 5 most watched streaming series for the week of March 13th to the 19th, the Madison was at number 5 in terms of it led all series in terms of streaming views, defined generally as time spent viewing divided by total runtime. So yeah, this is not the first time they've done a bait and switch either for these shows, because 1923 was heavily marketed as Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren show. And then you find out when you watch the show, they're not in much of the show at all. And of course, the spin-off that they've announced since, I mean, was mostly going to be based on the character that Brendan Sklenar played. So the son, I think, of Harrison Ford's character. So I mean, I'm not surprised on that level, but you know what, still is delivering the goods in terms of the ratings, and they've already got a season 2 and you know, in the bag. So they literally already shot it. So at least you're going to get a second season, and with season 3, we'll see. But I mean, look, Michelle Pfeiffer doesn't do TV shows very often, but here she is doing it, and I'm kind of disappointed Kurt Russell's character didn't last that long. But I mean, then again, he's gonna focus on his Monarch show over at Apple. So
yeah,
am I really that surprised?
He probably couldn't do it.
So and he's doing, isn't he doing like a movie where him and White Russell are gonna be in it together or something? I thought
maybe. I don't fucking know.
But John, Starfleet Academy, Tony, and I'm sure Monique and everybody can get in on this. Starfleet Academy, we talked about it. I think it was a couple of days ago. We got the news that it got canceled after 2 seasons. Literally, season 2 just finished production. So once that airs, Starfleet Academy will no longer be alive and kicking as a show. But the internet has been going in on this, and of course, Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, who, by the way, just celebrated his 95th birthday not that long ago. And he kind of came to the defense of the franchise. If you can zoom in a little bit for me, I wanted to kind of read some of what he said. And look, there's nobody better who can provide us with a perspective on the franchise and a more definitive perspective than Captain Kirk himself. Like, he's literally been there from not literally day one, but almost literally day one. And I think a lot of the discourse, well, day 2. Well, sure. But a lot of the discourse around Starfleet Academy has been that this is not my Star Trek. But that's also a criticism that's not the first time you've heard of, that this is not my Star Trek. And I think he did a great job here of trying to, again, put that into perspective for fans. Whether you're a fan who has been around since the 60s watching the original show, or you just signed on to the recent era of Star Trek, or you've been a fan since the 80s and the 90s. He said, look, Star Trek exists in more than one world. I wish I could. Do you want to do this in William Shatner's voice? Because I feel like I can't do that. Because I feel like this is a perfect opportunity.
My voice is going to be just gone by the end of this. I'm going to be talking about this at the end of Fancast Friday.
It's so worth it. If you could just...
Okay, here we Too bad I don't have any water near me or anything to drink. Okay.
I've had Wonka vision. I'll pass you a bottle.
Trek exists in more than one world. It exists in the fantasy of science fiction, weird and wonderful things that play unimaginably, possibilities of exploration and human endeavor. But it also exists in the fantasy of human beings, the perfection of human beings, the exploration that human beings made since the dawn of time, and the continuing exploration, physically, mentally, and morally. It's that aspect of Star Trek that I've always loved, to look at something physically that doesn't exist now by these talented writers and designers, but also to tackle the eternal human questions, the agonies, the ecstasies. Star Trek should exist for a long time, to come based on those truths. I, for one, would love to see its continuity. It's with sorrow that I hear about the cancellation of the new Star Trek series.
There's a monster on the plane. Anyway.
There's something on the wing. This is. This wasn't the only thing he said. This was.
Yeah.
He also.
And we continue because I think he made some really good.
During the first airing of my Star Trek series, where a kiss was objectionable, many southern stations pulled the episode and condemned the show. Using today's vernacular, it would absolutely be called woke DEI crap because it went against norms of society for its time. Not a lot seems to have changed.
Ooh.
Shrugging and expressionless. The fact that William Shatner, who's known to be a little bit more against the whole idea of modern, I wouldn't say
he's not the biggest
conservative, but he's
champion.
More, he's not a super liberal like a lot of
right.
other
No,
the fact that
but
he's
even
guys, this is kind of bullshit. And the fact people are
Yeah.
attacking it, kind of bullshit. So even when Captain James Tiberius Kirk is telling you, hey, shut the fuck up, and considering that the actor who played Captain Kirk is more, I would say he's more centrist than anything, maybe right leaning. Even he's being shut
but
the fuck
it's
up.
because a lot of the criticisms are very superficial, or the whole "that's not my Trek" argument, which we even get that with that's not my Star Wars.
I mean, who
that's
knows?
Not my DC
Maybe the show
and stuff.
sucked. Maybe it was great. I don't fucking know.
But-
I don't watch Star Trek, so.
But here's the thing: if you go back to the arc, because he didn't. This is not the only thing. I think there's one or two more passages. I just want to finish what the point he was making. Okay, so
when Next Gen came out, there was tons of hate because it wasn't Star Trek. That's my dad's argument. He's like, there is no Trek without Kirk and Spock. And the cast probably was in fear from the fans. Again, when the series with Bakula came out, it too was panned by fans because it wasn't Star Trek.
that was me.
Star Trek is
Loved
different
Enterprise.
for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Because like people when the Next Generation came out, they were like, "Oh, no Kirk, no Spock. This is not Star Trek." Then they were making movies with that cast, the original cast, and Next Generation to a lot of people is what defines Star Trek for them. So, yeah, I mean Starfleet Academy. That's what we were talking about, Anthony. It's just not going to be continuing after season 2, which will come out, I believe, next year. So I mean, and then Captain Kirk also, like William Shatner him said that, look, even when Scott Bakula's Star Trek Enterprise came out, everybody was like up. And I remember this specifically because I was watching, Stargate Atlantis, SG-1 at the time, and I loved watching Stargate Enterprise. But everybody online, you go on the forums and stuff, and they were like, "That's not my Trek. Like, what are they doing? This is not Star Trek," because it was very different from anything they've gone in recent times.
They've been saying that for
every
Star Trek show.
Every
Next
single
Gen,
one.
oh, you can't have Star Trek without Kirk and Spock. Deep Space Nine, this is too dark for Star Trek, to the point that even Roddenberry's kids denounced Deep Space Nine.
Right.
And then Voyager, oh, this is too goofy for Star Trek.
Exactly.
Enterprise, this isn't Star Trek. Like fans have been saying this for fucking decades, but it's just like,
yeah. And you know what happens?
Or like the 2009 movie, this isn't Star Trek because this Kirk is the womanizer fuckwad. So it's
but the original. Have you seen the original show? Kirk was always a womanizer.
Like that's what I'm saying. But
yes.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
RLM had a good argument against that, where they're like, yeah, he was a womanizer, but the way it was portrayed in the 2009 movie felt off and didn't feel true to Kirk's character. But it was a different Kirk, so
yeah,
it's a whole thing. So
and to the point where it was like acknowledged with it, like it was a different parallel universe Kirk, right? So if they literally made him the same as the other one, this what was the difference? Deep Space Nine, I think. But here's the thing: the point I was gonna make is like Anthony was saying, or I think Tony mentioned as well. Like for all of us, we have our version of Star Trek, or there may be multiple versions. I love most Star Trek things from across the original. Although I have the box sets from the original shows because my mom loved watching the original ones. My mom also, while she was growing up, she loved watching Next Generation. That's where my fandom comes from, is from her fandom, and I still love putting it on Paramount Plus. It transports you back into this retro-futuristic world. Voyager is different. Each show has its own personality. I grew up watching Enterprise while it was airing. It has one of the in my opinion, one of the better finales, with William Riker coming back in for the finale. I mean, I love watching Once We Were a Spaceman, the new podcast between Brent Spiner and Jonathan Frakes, that Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk were on recently as well. I wish Liz was here. I think she would have a lot to say about this as well. But I mean, Prodigy and Lower Decks were good. Yeah, I love Discovery for the most part.
Quoting the man himself. I'm surprised he didn't say this in his Twitter rant, where he's like, "Get a life,
get a life." It's get a life.
Get a life. Get it.
Not that one, but still, yeah. And you know what, the point I was trying to make is, no matter how much those shows were chastised in their time, over time the fandom comes to accept those, because nowadays a lot of the conversation around Star Trek Enterprise is, oh, I loved it, bring him back. Can we bring back Scott Bakula? He's still around and kicking.
It's just
so it's just time, people grow up.
What's the quote where it's time?
Yeah.
Something about time, kind of making the heart grow fonder or something like that. Whatever the hell that quote is, where it's just it's just time. I assume 20 years from now, people are gonna say, oh yeah, man, that sequel Star Wars trilogy was actually pretty good. So it's just
I think it's also part of it is here's the thing, because if you grew up and that was your entry point, then you are going to be biased to that. And then now, as 10, 15
Which is
years
funny,
go by,
because my entry point to Star Wars was the prequel trilogy, and I don't like it. So
but I'm not saying, but I'm also, that's not a rule of thumb. But what I'm saying is, in most instances, what happens is a lot of people today who love Star Trek, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people watched Enterprise growing up, for me, for example, and many others. That's how a franchise keeps growing and continues. Yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. There was a big gap after Enterprise to Discovery. Strange New Worlds, I think, is doing a fantastic. I love Strange New Worlds. And so over time, those fans grow up and then they grow fond. So the cultural memory of that show grows fonder as a result, because people today enjoyed those iterations, whereas the people, and they are a bigger part of the conversation today in pop culture than they were at the time the shows were airing, and the people who were bigger fans at the time have moved on, sometimes almost literally to the afterlife, but like, like it's the conversation keeps going. So yeah, like we all, plus there's always going to be, your guilty pleasures and good and bad ones, and I think overall for a franchise that's been around for like almost 100 years at this point, Star Trek, I think, as with anything that's been around that long, has had its ups and downs. Like there's plenty of really bad Bond movies, but there's also plenty of, really great ones. And this the same thing with Star Trek TV. Right now, we just sit at an inflection point where Star Trek, the way we know it, the Alex Kurtzman version from the last decade or so, that may be coming to an end, because we know there's a defined endpoint for Strange New Worlds, Starfleet Academy ending, and then most of the animated shows are on the way out. Discovery just finished his run a year ago. It looks like Alex Kurtzman might be renewing with Paramount, but he's going to be passing the baton. They're looking to do a new movie again. So a new era in Star Trek will be, born, hopefully in the next few years, and then somebody else will come in and take over and do their version of Trek, and who that is we don't know yet. But until then, for the fans of Star Trek, we've been eating good for a little while. If you enjoyed the recent iterations, I love Picard. I'll even, if season 2 has to exist for season 1 and 3 to exist, then I love Star Trek Picard. And as a Trekkie, I think, there's plenty of, I can go back and rewatch all the ones that are still, around. Like there's so many episodes of Next Generation, and then, Enterprise. I'm actually doing a rewatch of Star Trek Enterprise these days. So I'm on season 3, I think. But yeah, hopefully the next Star Trek drought is not for very long, because we still got a year or two of Strange New Worlds, another season, the second season of Starfleet Academy. And then, by that time, hopefully they'll have some plan for what they want to do next with Star Trek. So, live on and prosper. Until then.
Live long and
live long and prosper. Sorry.
And you call yourself a Trekkie, Dan. Come on.
Dude, it's a long show. Speaking of which, let's get to the quick hits.
Yeah, speaking of long. So
how about we do these quick hits on the beach, John? We got
one word answers. One word answers, and that's it. Okay? First thing. But did you change the music?
I added another one because this is like the less I've not used this in years. This is the Bossa Nova Beach music.
Okay. Oscar is relocating from Hollywood's Dolby Theater to downtown's LA Live in 2029. That's when the YouTube deal is going to go into place, where it's going to premiere on YouTube as well. So cool, great, awesome, don't care.
But dude, Peacock actually sponsors them, so it's going to be like at the Peacock Theater on YouTube, Anyway.
Go figure. Warner Brothers Discovery sets April 23 vote on Paramount mega deal. Can't wait for that to blow up in your face. WGA West staff union delivers strike-ending updated contract proposals to management, enter a fair deal, and reunite. Hopefully it goes good for WGA, because they deserve it, and fuck the corporations. Anyway, Steve Carell says Paul Rudd warned him, don't audition for The Office, and our pilot was the lowest testing pilot in the history of NBC. Yeah, because watching it sucks, but the rest of the show is good.
Yeah, it got a lot better in season 2.
Oh, hey, shocking. Hollywood's racist. Antonio Banderas came to Hollywood and execs told him, you're here, like the blacks and Hispanics, to play the bad guys. Well, frankly, Antonio Banderas persevered, and now he can say, go fuck yourselves. Sydney Sweeney's new look in Euphoria Season 3 poster revealed. Very nice, very hot.
Where's the poster? Where's the poster? You gotta show the poster, John.
There she is.
There you go.
Bikini, but she's not naked, so who cares? Anyway, The Mummy, John Hannah returning as Rachel Weisz's brother. Woohoo! That was the thing that people cared about, so he's coming back. So now more people are even gonna watch it even more, because that was the one thing.
John Hannah, there you go.
One thing.
He was
now your boy fresh off of Sent Help, and your other boy fresh off of Heated rivalry set for Sophia Bonsoff thriller Apparatus. Cool. I'll watch it for Dylan O'Brien. I don't really care about Hudson Williams. No offense, I never watched Heated Rivalry, and I don't really care. Anyway. Himesh Patel, who I actually really enjoy, he's a great actor.
He's in The Odyssey. He was in Inception.
Deadweiler in X-Files reboot from
They're going to be the two new
Ryan
leads.
Coogler. Awesome.
So they're going to be playing different characters. They're not playing Mulder and Scully. This seems like it's like a requel of sorts, because like Chris Carter is still involved. But Himesh Patel and Danielle Deadweiler, I can't wait to see the chemistry between these two. I can't wait
for all the racists to fucking complain about this one. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Deadpool actor Stefan Kapasik reteams for Tim Miller and on Keanu Reeves' sci-fi action movie. I'd watch it, but Tim Miller kind of sucks outside of the first Deadpool, so I don't know about that. Speaking of things sucking, Lights Out 2. Turned on as New Line hires Animal Scribe. The original 2016 horror movie cost under $5 million to produce and scared up to $150 million worldwide. And it's honestly, I like David F. Sandberg. I think he's a good director. I just, pretty much outside of his Shazam movies, his horror movies are not that great. And Lights Out was okay. So, anyway. Gwyneth Paltrow to star in Strangers as Netflix wins movie rights to Belle Burden's blockbuster memoir, Whoops, Don't Care.
Ooh,
Ya boy, Ryan Gosling to star in next movie from Everything Everywhere All at Once, directing Daniels. So
they're keeping very mum about what it is about, but I mean,
White
put
Boy
these
Summer
people
is
together.
continuing, folks. Let's go. Anyway, Vanessa Kirby and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II set for Apple sci-fi thriller Liminal. Louis Leterrier directing. I'd watch the hell out of this. I like the cast. I like Louis Leterrier as a director, and Liminal, that's a very intriguing concept.
The name.
So
I like the name. I mean, as long as this is good, because he's also directed the Fast 9 movie, and I think Fast X, and he's doing Fast Forever as well. Of course, I hope you saw Vanessa Kirby in Eden, and then of course Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Wonder Man.
Was she in Eden?
She was in Eden.
Okay.
Her, Sydney Sweeney, Ana de Armas were in Eden.
Yep. Rob Lowe boards Cameron Diaz and Stephen Merchant, Amazon MGM Studios rom-com. You had me at Rob Lowe, you lost me at Cameron Diaz, you had me with Stephen Merchant, and then you lost me at rom-com again. So
this actually is really highly sought after, and it's like a really cool concept. I don't know if Rob Lowe is going to be he's in a supporting role, because Stephen Merchant is going to be the lead, and then so I think him and Cameron Diaz are meant to be like the two leads.
Gross, Cameron Diaz. Anyway, ew, gross. Pete Davidson to star as mafia killer Tommy Karate with Paul Walter Hauser, the DEA agent who chased him down. Camila Mendez and Simon Rex co-star with Justin Chon directing. What a headline!
That's a really long
headline. Like
headline.
him in what was that movie? That was pretty good. It had Ed Harris in it. I forget what that was called. That was good.
Oh, the
Liz
right stuff.
It. What? Hold on. Anyway,
he was in the right stuff, back.
He was in the fucking of course he was in the right stuff. Anyway, speaking of that, God of War Prime video series cast Lost alum Sonya Walger as Freya.
Dude,
and she
that's
looks
Linda
like
Hamilton.
She can be Linda Hamilton's kid.
That is Linda Hamilton. I don't know what you're telling me, but that's not. You can tell me that's Sonya Walger, but that's Linda Hamilton. Like we need. I was just telling you this before the show. If they make another
Riff-Raff.
If James Cameron was doing like a proper reboot of the franchise and he wanted to cast Linda Hamilton, but not Linda Hamilton, Sonya Walger could literally be her. This is uncanny, the resemblance. Or if they wanted to do a Linda Hamilton biopic, Sonya, please go sign up.
Why do you hate Paul Walter Hauser? What the fuck? What did he do to you?
But she's gonna be playing Freya in God of War, so there you go.
But yeah, very cool. Wuthering Heights breakout Alison Oliver to star in Irish period thriller Bad Bridget's cool, great, don't care. Tom Hanks to star in baseball movie with Bad Bunny and Coleman Domingo eyed for roles. Sony leads bidding war for Marielle
Bad Bunny.
Heller project. Cool,
it's a new baseball movie. Of course, you gotta have Bad Bunny in there.
Kennedy Netflix series drops first look at Michael Fassbender as Joe Kennedy Sr. and adds 13 to cast. Could be interesting, but I think it's Ryan Murphy, so I'm kind of iffy on it. So yeah,
it looks interesting though. Fassbender. Yeah.
Eric Kripke says The Boys' final season has no full battle scenes as show doesn't have Game of Thrones budget, but it does have Game of Thrones writing, and by writing I mean season 8 writing, aka bad writing, because it's The Boys. So yeah. Hannah Montana anniversary special hits 6.3 million views in 3 days.
Yes, it
as
does.
Original series jumps 1,000% in views.
1,000%, baby. You've just got the best of both worlds. I forgot the song. But it's something to do with the best of both worlds. Yes, Hannah Montana.
But speaking of that, Miley Cyrus set for giving us Lifetime Achievement Award at RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18 finale. Very cool. Don't care. Jeopardy launches spinoff on YouTube. Great. Don't care. Hollywood films made by women had a stark decline in 2025. Reframe study finds. Maybe that's why there was a better year for movies. JK, lol. C-3PO head from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back nets whopping $1 million at prop store auction. The rich get richer. Cool, great. Bro looks dope, but definitely looks like a Matrix character. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
He definitely... You know what? The Photoshop is so uncanny because you just gave him the two guns and the glasses. You can literally... All they need to do is swap out the background. Just put a green, skyscraper behind him.
Just put a green tint on it and you're good.
Yeah, tint, you're good. You're good. That's all you need.
That's it for Quick Hits.
Snape is the new Neo. There's a music rap video of him. Wait, what? I need to see this, MTG. You gotta send me a link or something, because that would be epic.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This side of the show, we're done with new stuff. Anyway, more awkward trend. Bye.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Honka honka.
Hello.
No.
And here we are for DCU Daily. I'm your host, John. Lovely to see you all. We also have Dan here. And I want to try and go to sleep at a decent hour, so we're going to try and make this quick, because we fucking still have Fancast Friday after this. So, yeah.
I prefer Jared Leto. Okay, Caleb, we know you prefer Jared Leto, but we prefer DC News. Let's talk about it, shall we?
Yes.
John L. No. Yeah.
Anyway.
What did I do, Dantism? Like, I'm okay. Never mind. Let's keep going. The House of L. We apparently have a family tree.
All right.
This is an interesting family tree, though. Like, it's
Yes. Okay. So very cute, very nice, and of course the fucking comment has to ruin it because
What? Why?
I don't know. People fucking suck. Anyway,
it's a very comprehensive family tree. I didn't think we had. Actually, when you think about it, I didn't realize they had already gotten that many House of L members. In the tree already on screen for us.
Although nice cropping, jackass.
Anyway, Crypto is my favorite member on that family tree from the House of L.
Yes.
Yes.
But speaking of Supergirl, Batman writer and Bane co-creator Chuck Dixon criticizes the DCU Supergirl tagline "Truth, Justice, Whatever." It's stupid. Your idea of making us connect to this character is that she's a nihilist. Says the guy who drew Batman as a guy who supported ICE. So frankly, you can go fuck yourself, Chuck Dixon. But like, yeah, eat. How about eat the thing that's in your name, dick. And eat dicks.
It's just, to me, it lacks a lot of nuance of like you're reading it very surface level. There's a lot more to the character clearly, and yeah.
But that would cause like Chuck Dixon to have like 3 functioning brain cells, and he barely has 1. So it definitely came across he can as bend over and take it at this point.
Well, it definitely came across as a bit of a old man shout at the sky.
Oh yeah, old man yells at cloud. 100%, 100%. He's a fucking moron. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. So frankly, choke on it, loser. Anyway, Supergirl is headed to CCXP in Mexico.
Hey.
But it is confirmed, confirmado, for April 24th, 25th, and 26th of this year. So,
You know what? I'll be watching to see. We'll cover it. Like if they got a trailer, some new looks at maybe whatever, Lobo potentially. That'll be fun. Maybe they'll have maybe Crypto reveals.
Well,
so John had a roost. No, John's fine.
Well, because he was saying because like the douchebag comment that's like, oh fucking, why are they fucking Jews, like on the first guy's comment. That's why he's saying that. So anyway.
Yeah. Well,
because it is going to be a rave. Anyway. Moving on. Next up, the next DC/Marvel crossover should be Absolute Batman and Absolute Wolverine, even though that's not how that works. Okay,
I would probably be more like no. What was it? Their line? The not Absolute, but like Rasul. What's the Marvel equivalent? That they ended it already.
The Ultimate Universe.
The Ultimate, yeah. So it'll be
which they ended
Batman.
twice.
Right. Well, Ultimate Wolverine, that could be it potentially.
And also, no way is Wolverine in the comics making it to absolute Batman's belt. He would be making it to his knee. Like
that could create that could make for some interesting possibilities, don't you think, John?
Sure. Glop glop. Anyway.
Let's keep going.
But next up, this is the cover for Batman / Wonder Woman Truth #1. Very, very exciting. This is mainline stuff. This isn't absolute, but it's a variant cover. It's by Jim Lee.
It looks nice.
But
I
yeah,
like
looking good.
I like it. Still, the blue somehow works. I mean, I never thought I would be saying that about a Batman costume. The blue works here. So, yep.
But next up, Lars Eidinger, who is playing our Brainiac, says he's training 4 times a week and working with James Gunn to design the role of Brainiac for Man of Tomorrow, which is very exciting. You know, taking
he's
it
getting into
seriously.
good shape, man.
Crazy.
That also what that means for me is that we might be seeing him in like some sort of costume that requires him to be in great physical shape.
I'm a human being. Why the fuck wouldn't I? Jesus.
Thank you for
I
your
am
super
going to
chat,
support
Justin
the guys that
Guy.
are turning America into a fascist police state. Yeah, sure, okay. Anyway, enough of that. But Lars Eidinger, I'm glad that
I'm
he's
excited.
working on this hard and working on this, to the best of his ability. Clearly, he cares. He wants to make sure this is the best. It's just, I hope he shaves his fucking head, bro, because that haircut, that's not doing him any favors, bro.
Well, but like from the most German-looking sounding name, dude. It's interesting. I appreciate that he's putting in the effort, and that's about as much enthusiasm as I'd expect from him.
Enthusiasm.
Exactly.
Enthusiasm.
That German bluntness is what we all love, I'm sure. Yeah, Lars, my favorite actor growing up.
Right now. Anyway. But next up, Eva De Dominici responds to Maxima casting rumor for Man of Tomorrow, saying, I would love to work with James Gunn. That's the only thing. I'm a big fan, and at some point I'd love to play a superhero. It's one of my dreams. I'm sure you're in the dreams of many young men, and I assume they're not dry. So that works tangentially. So,
okay. I actually I went on Google to find some images for Eva to like put in the thumbnail for today's episode. And yeah, Eva De Dominici certainly is checking all the right boxes for James Gunn casting her in the DC. So I definitely think it would be very, very on character for James Gunn and his casting choices recently. So Eva De Dominici. I mean, James Gunn's not being the allegations as is.
I mean, she likes a Latina mommy. What can we say?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got good taste.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, that's fucking stupid. He's just a Rizzler. It's fine.
Yeah.
Next up, apparently,
you're reading too much into that.
These are the highest grossing DC movies of all time. You have obviously Aquaman as #1, and then Justice League at number 10. So very nice.
Now, actually, Superman comes in at number 11. If it had made more money internationally, it would have beaten Justice League. But I mean, say what you will about the DCEU, still dominates the majority of this top 10. Then of course you got literally 2 movies featuring the Joker, 3 movies featuring Batman. Actually, more than 3. 5, half of that list. Man of Steel's up there. Hitchcock and Blondes. Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, I mean, hey, Aquaman's still at the top. The Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight. Yeah, man. Top 10. You look at we once did a comparison with the top 10 of Marvel movies, and they're like all $1.5 billion plus. So DC's still got a long ways to go, but it's good to see the top 10 is still pretty epic, still pretty cool. Yet to feature a DCU movie, but I'm sure we'll get one soon. So maybe Man of Tomorrow could do it. If you had told me 10-15 years ago that an Aquaman movie would be the highest grossing DC movie, I would have slapped you in the face, then punch you in the gut,
and then punch you in the stomach, and then pissed on your corpse.
Yeah, because
I mean, here's the thing.
Suicide Squad did win an Oscar, though. You're not wrong.
You know, I mean,
Oscar
there's
winning.
also like, maybe after the Entourage episode with, you know, him making that Aquaman movie and directed by James Cameron, like maybe it wasn't totally out of the
Yeah,
question. Although they did
yeah,
direct the Michael Bay movie with Jake Gyllenhaal as the sequel, so he could get out of his contract. So there's that.
yeah. Yeah, and then for those of you wondering, Zack Snyder didn't post anything DC related today, so that's why we didn't really talk about it.
I wouldn't piss on your gums if your mouth was on fire. Yeah, Entourage predicted it. They did.
Yeah.
And they predicted an even shittier sequel. Go figure.
Got to go figure.
Honestly, like a Michael Bay directed Aquaman movie probably would have been better than Lost Kingdom. So, yeah. Anyway, but Mark Waid, speaking of good comic book writers, although I have heard Mark Waid is also kind of an asshole, but that's beside the point. Happy Superman/Spider-Man Day. If anyone asks you what 54 variant covers looks like, here is your answer. And then DC Comics responded, so it looks like my dreams. Honestly, would.
That's great. I want all 50 of those. Are there 50? Can't even count, but that looks like there's 50.
Yeah. 1, 2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would make that 35. Plus 4, that's 39. So Mark Waid can't count.
Maybe there's a few hidden somewhere. I don't know. That still looks pretty epic.
It is epic.
I know we have talked about a bunch of these already. They all look great. So, oops. All right.
I done goofed. That's okay.
It's all good. I think we can keep going.
Yeah. The math ain't math. Sorry, Mark Waid.
Yeah.
But James Gunn, what did he say? He talked about his friend Nathan Fillion, wishing him a nice little happy birthday despite his horrible haircut. And then, of course,
the bowl cut, man. It's
had to ruin the comment section, but that's beside the point.
Happy birthday! Yay! I thought I had music for this. Do I have music for this? It's somewhere. I can't find it right now. Well, happy birthday, Nathan Fillion. Castle. He did Castle. Of course, he's in the DCU now.
Firefly, which is coming
Guardians,
back now,
Firefly,
apparently.
Yeah.
So
he's doing an animated version of that. So that's crazy. Pretty much the whole cast is coming back for that. I mean, Nathan Fillion is like I hope he survives Lanterns, but like, holy cow. Yeah. Happy birthday to Nathan Fillion. Thank you, James Gunn, for bringing that up for us. Great.
But that's it?
That's it?
For DC?
That's it.
But
that's
the ride's not
DC.
over yet because we do have a bit of a Q&A session. So we'll bring that in. We got quite a few questions from you guys. So that's very exciting. You actually like pulled in the fucking effort. Losers. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
I think we all put in the effort. You guys asked the questions. We brought them
Maximum
in. It's
effort.
Yes, that's my man. Let's get into the Q&A session, John. You got the Q's to the A's.
Processing.
Q's to the A's to the days. Who's more garbage, Tom King or Dan DiDio? No, don't go back there.
Tom King. Dan DiDio sucks, but at least like he had some good stuff under editorial at DC. But like Tom King's worse. He hasn't made anything good under DC. Anyway, Q&A, guys. Fist my bump.
Amaze.
Anyway, so how many fucking questions we got? We got fucking 9 questions, guys.
We got 9.
God damn. You really put in the work.
Oh, I did.
So, Main Man Lobo, one of the biggest problems with direct adaptations is that the viewer already knows what's going to happen, including the ending. I've seen a few channels pining away for a Zack Snyder Kingdom Come or Dark Knight Returns. At some point, I realized that direct adaptations are like read-along books. I had those as a kid for Star Wars and Superman, and after a few spins, yawning emoji.
I appreciate what he's saying because it's like if you were literally doing.
That's why you should save that for like the animated movies. You know, like the upcoming Nightfall movie that's coming out. I think in the summer. Like, keep that for like direct adaptations because only the super nerds are watching the animated movies because they're like direct to digital and video. So have them watch that because like I mean sure like maybe some fans are watching those but like general audience people but like for the most part it's like super fans so like have that be the animated stuff and stick with that. So
I 100% agree. I also think that, like he mentioned specifically, the Dark Knight Returns that Zack Snyder wants to do. I bet you that even if he does get to adapt it directly, he's still going to like, take some creative freedoms and like do things that weren't, in the comics. So even Zack Snyder, if he was doing a direct adaptation, he's not going to go frame by frame. So, but yeah, like you said, I agree with you 100%, John. I think that's why they call them adaptations. Otherwise, they'd be like recreations. I don't know. Like it's a remakes, I guess is another way to describe them. So
yeah. But so the next one we got is who should direct the new Fugitive? No one, because it's a stupid fucking idea and it shouldn't be remade, especially with fucking Zendaya. Quibi tried and it failed. So let's nobody.
Wasn't that with what was his name? He put 24.
It was Boyd Holbrook, I think it was.
Was it? I thought it was I thought it had the who was the name from 24? Why am I forgetting his name right now? The original 24 series.
No, it was Boyd Holbrook.
Was it Boyd Holbrook? Okay, never mind. I don't care. It's just
nothing to do with the plot of like, even though it has none of the same character names, not the same inciting incident, it's like completely abhorrently different. It's in name only, and so this would be in name only. It's just like. Literally, it was a great TV series for its time. The fucking Harrison Ford movie was one of the few like genuinely amazing television series,
loved by
movie adaptations.
Critics
and it was
and
perfect.
Audiences. Yeah,
just leave it be. We don't have to fucking remake everything. It's stupid. And no one. Nobody.
Look, this is based on a news article. I think Giant Freaking Robot were talking about it like a couple of weeks ago. What I will say is, if you want to, because the idea was that they would reimagine it so Zendaya would be the lead and she could kind of get into more action movies, is like why she would be doing it. And obviously the story would be very different because I don't think they're trying to do a remake in this case. They're just, again, adapting it. Kiefer Sutherland is who I was thinking of, Monique, but apparently he wasn't.
Well, he was, but he wasn't the main star, but yes.
He wasn't the main, okay.
Quibi show.
Yeah. What is New Fugitive? Question.
There is a rumor that they're going to remake the Fugitive with Zendaya in a lead role, like as some action starring vehicle, because that usually works out. Sure.
Yeah. It sounds like a great. I mean, if they do it, fine. It still feels like it's a long ways off. It's been offered to her. It doesn't seem like it's gone beyond that. So we'll see. If it happens, we'll see. But thank you for the question, Acres of Movies, aka Stacy.
Mort Katna says, "I want Trunks back for all heroes." I agree. I think Batman, or in the world of Project Hail Mary.
Fist my bump.
But for Batman, I can go either. Superman needs the Trunks, 100%. He needs the Trunks. But for Batman, I think like it can go either or. I prefer Trunks because it just breaks up the monotony of the suit. But he can go without, and it worked. Like one of the best Batman suits we've gotten was the BVS suit. And that didn't have trunks, and that was amazing because we finally got the gray and black. Thank God. Now we just need gray and blue, and we're Gucci.
I mean, I was trying to think, like, for the long time, like, what superhero never had trunks? And
I'd rather watch a Superman film by Zack Snyder again. I'd rather watch like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Yeah, than Tom King doing. Yeah.
Because like Tom King is the thing is. Because it depends who's writing the Superman film. If it's, David S. Goyer and all that, probably not. I mean, if you get a good writer, you could probably he could probably make it work. Just don't be, make it the nothing burger that Man of Steel was. But
I don't think it was a nothing burger.
Tom King, like you could fucking resurrect Stanley Kubrick from the fucking dead to direct that movie, and he still couldn't make it work because. Your movie is as good as your script, and if you can make a bad movie from a good script, but it is impossible to make a good movie from a bad script. It's just impossible. You can't make that work. So like that's kind of what it was with Psycho Killer. A lot of people thought that was bad. Like clearly the director was the wrong choice, and because everyone read the script and said it was really good. and he made a bad movie, and it was I mean, I liked the movie, but it was a bad bad movie with a good script. Yet if like Green Lantern, that movie had an inherently broken script, and you couldn't resurrect it no matter what they did. You couldn't.
It's just, work. I mean, there's a lot of other issues with that movie, but yeah, that script being a really big one. This also reminded me of like the Edna Mode, no capes, but you know, trunks. Yes, we can do trunks.
We don't count that. We don't count that. Like, I mean, the only Stanley Kubrick movie I have not liked is The Shining. Like 2001, I respect.
And you're in the minority on that one. But
yeah,
like,
I know.
I know you are. I know you know you are.
It's boring as fuck. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Anyway, Tony Randall, who is in our chat, so thank you for the comment. I would like a short video series on Disney Plus of ordinary folks dealing with living in a superhero world, like the comics Powers or something. Well, there was this show that you put in the background with Alan Tudyk and Vanessa Hudgens and the dude from Community.
Powerless. It was called Powerless.
That's what it was.
It was on NBC for one season, got canceled before it aired its last 3 episodes. Eventually they put the whole show on some, you know, obscure network to air out the final 3 episodes, and then
because what happened is they shot a pilot, I think, and originally it was supposed to be
Metropolis,
like research and development for Wayne Enterprises, and then or it was like an insurance. I forget what it was. I think it was like originally research and development, and then they changed it into like insurance or something, or vice versa. I forget what it was. But yeah, it's very weird show. I heard it was like okay, but like not that great. So that's why I got canceled before it finished. So that
I mean, if you guys can find it, I'm sure it's available to rent or buy, or it might even be on HBO Max somewhere. So Trevor Slattery. Thank you, Tony, for sending in the question, and yeah, keep sending those in. Get in the comments for any of these videos. That's where we go and look for these. So there's also a post on the channel asking for more questions today. So if you go to the post section, the community post section, you can see it there as well.
Right. Okay. So I was looking because I remember the original trailer. It was like, it was an insurance company. But I guess they figured that wasn't exciting enough, or the test audiences didn't like it that they showed it to. So then it became research and development at Wayne Security to make it more in tune with the comics, I guess. And then they had Alan Tudyk as Bruce Wayne's cousin, which was oof. Like, I love Alan Tudyk, but I've seen bits and pieces of this show, and even he's like, geez, it's not a good performance.
Well, I mean, look, this certainly gave it as much of a shot as anybody did, because I don't know if Marvel has ever done something like this. You look, Vanessa Hudgens, Alan Tudyk, is there no lightweights, and then also it was on NBC, so it wasn't like on a cable network either. I just hope that, you know, we eventually get something like it, maybe from Marvel or DC, because this seems like the kind of thing that James Gunn would greenlight if he had the right, you know, set of ideas or scripts in front of him. So hopefully we'll get to see that in the future. To answer your question, just some geeky guy, which of the fictional cities would I rather live in? I would probably live in Metropolis, because Gotham, too dangerous. Chicago, too dangerous. Marvel's New York, like they're fighting aliens and some like, you know, getting sent to the void. Like,
can I go with none? So, because like honestly, the only one I could think of is like Gotham would probably be the best one. Like, because Invincible, like that scene at the end of season 1, no fucking way. And then New York aliens, Metropolis aliens. Gotham, it's poor, and you have at the most mentally ill people. Like, that's, I mean, it's not great.
No. Well, okay, I just kind of answered your question for you there.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Damage Control would be a great MCU version of that show. Like, if they wanted to do that, like Powerless.
I think Dan might agree with you, Sean Wallace. What the fuck? Who cares about the Oscars? Well, clearly enough fucking people voted for it for Fancast Fridays. So.
I don't get it, everybody. Like, what are you guys talking about? By the way, I would totally be Batman's sidekick because chicks dig the car. So there you go. Just some geeky guy. But yeah, I mean, Sean, thank you for that comment. I don't know how. It's kind of like, remember when we did the poll for Tier List Tuesday? Somehow Wolverine won over Christopher Nolan movies. then it got tied, and then people realized they made a mistake, so then we had to do Nolan the second time around. I mean,
but with Superman, Superman has bigger threats. He has like Brainiac and shit. Like,
he's not gonna save every
what's
cat
the
out of
most?
the tree.
Okay, a fucking clown with a knife. Okay, creepy. Like, come on now.
I just don't get, like, half of you voted for it, half of you. This is why we don't put that shit in there. John, next time you make a poll, don't put it in there. Dude, we don't put stuff like this in the poll, because you know that somebody out there is it. Because I wanted to do DCU The Flash director, and that got the second most votes.
Well, we're gonna do that second, and it's probably gonna get chosen next week, so we're good.
Probably, but like, you know, like we still anyway. I digress. Let's
neither. Like, what are these fucking questions anyway?
But you know what, Justin, we love your questions. Get them in the comments below.
Why do so many movies nowadays look so damn gray and dull? That's my question. That might be because of lighting techniques. Actually, because for years we had lighting in like the streets, like the lamp lights on streets were like that orange tungsten look. I forget the material, like sodium something.
Sodium vapor.
Yeah. So, but then, in order to be more fuel efficient, like in around like late 2000s, I think early 2010s, they replaced it with like fluorescent lights because they were more cost effective and saving energy, less light pollution, all that stuff. And the thing is, fluorescent lights are more dull and gray, and a lot of things like kind of mimicked that lighting, even if it doesn't take place outside. That a lot of the lighting inside kind of mimicked that real life outside lighting of those dull fluorescent lights, hence why it looks so bad, because fluorescent lighting is not very appealing. Anyone who has worked in an office building under fluorescent lights,
there should be
so that's probably one of the many reasons as to why like movies look so great. There's many reasons, but that's one of the biggest reasons that I watched a video about it.
No, there's definitely there's some, that's actually, you just draw some real like wisdom there. That is actually very, very true. It's also what us as film fans have been kind of, it's sort of like, you know, what we have come to expect, what we've been conditioned to expect from movies in terms of colors. And what you just described is a very subtle, we don't even consciously think about it kind of a thing. But it goes even beyond that, I think, because, like, you know, nowadays with LED lights, you can kind of easily replicate the color temperature and warmth and all that, or even just RGB lighting, like, you know, whatever look you want to create. I think there's some examples where movies look gray and dull, where it's because, you know, it becomes a CGI fest. Like, I'll give you some examples, like Ant-Man and Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a great one. So far, Supergirl kind of looks like that a little bit. The two Wicked movies definitely had that, where there was so much CGI that it just, you know, Snow White, the live action Snow White was a big one, where you get to the point where there's so much CGI and they're trying to make it all look, you know, they're trying to have that like golden hour look with CGI, and it just looks like everything is grayed out. It's just hard to replicate that. Some of it is bad CGI, some of it is bad production design, VFX design, just bad direct choices by the director. And most of the time we see movies that look great in color. I mean, look, The Batman was a really dark movie, but that movie had some great color in it.
Yeah, because Greg Fraser was doing the cinematography.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you know, or like 1917, a war movie from World War II, right? World War One, and it still had some amazing color. Like some of the sequences, like they shot a lot of it, in camera. They had a lot of like VFX as well, but it was very well planned out. Sometimes it's not even the VFX; it's more than that. It's the color grade. I mean, Superman was a very, very colorful movie. It looked kind of bland in its initial trailers, but once you see the actual movie, everything was finished. It was very colorful. So like, there's examples of both. I think you're painting with a broad brush, Caleb. That so many movies nowadays look damn gray and dull. There's reasons for why. A lot of times it's because of for example, Black Widow. As the further you go into the movie, the worse the VFX shots get, the more dull and gray it looks, because they're incomplete, badly done, they're undercooked. And then, you know, sometimes you're making decisions as a director looking at unfinished work, and then you don't have enough time to like go back and change it, or you're out of budget to change things, and so you end up, you know, with an unfinished product. I think The Flash had that issue as well.
Gordon Godfrey is a new god, and that's scarier. So
yeah, Caleb, you are firmly in the minority. You can literally ask any movie fan, and not just, you know, Nolan movie fan. They'll tell you that why his movies are loved.
Yeah, when was the last time M. Night made like back-to-back like billion-dollar movies? Like
never. When is the last time M. Night made back-to-back good movies? Like God, like
yeah, that's a good point. Probably like Sixth Sense and Unbreakable.
Maybe if yeah. Anyway, let's keep on going. We got more.
So next up, I know John's answer, but what's everyone's most hated movie of all time? Why'd you put Interstellar in the background?
I just couldn't think of anything else in the moment. So not because I think
my least favorite movie of all time is Thor: Love and Thunder, because that movie shouldn't exist and I want it nuked from existence. But you know,
my most hated movie of all time. Oh God, I don't really hate movies. Like I'm like a very romantic like person with that stuff.
All right, fucking Mr. like goody two shoes over here does. Oh, I don't hate movies. Okay.
No, like off the top of my head. Okay, hello, Dark Lead Eric. Would you rather be insulted in fancy English or perfect grammar by Dr. Doom or roasted by Deadpool? Roasted by Deadpool, because it would just be very temporary. My background fail. What are you talking about?
I think he's talking about.
Oh, that background. Oh, sorry.
Like, oh, you're insinuating the most.
No, I know. I just there's 9 of these that I had to do today. Like, and I was running out of time, and you could tell like this is one of the last ones. What is my most hated movie of all time? That's kind of hard to think about. I mean, I'm really thinking like, did I actually like hate a movie? I'm sure there's. I feel like the last Expendables movie was a complete waste of time. F9 actually really infuriated me. So those are a couple of examples. I'm sure I'll think of more. I generally don't watch a lot of movies that I know I won't like, so I don't like hate watch stuff. So that's probably why I can't. Yeah. By the way, these questions, so Justin Geeky Guy, we actually put up a post in the community post section. And if you go to that, if you go to the channel, go to the post section, there's a post asking for more questions.
And you can also post questions after this goes live. Yeah. And in the comment section,
or just in the community, like there's a community section on the channel. Just go and create a post there. I actually pulled, like, I think Tony's comment might have been from there. There's a community section on the channel. You can like create a post and we'll, you know, 50 Shades. Dude, I can't hate 50 Shades of Grey. There's some, you know, amazing stuff in there that I will.
And by amazing stuff, we mean Dakota Johnson naked, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Dan is a man of taste. Anyway. What is your favorite anime film of all time? Spirited Away.
I also realized again, Avatar's technically not anime, The Last Airbender, but
kind of counts. It's like American anime. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, but it's not really like, because it's not anyway. But like anyway, so again, yeah. Thank you, Tony. Exactly. But if you don't have a show, we usually post about it there in the community post section.
Oh. Caleb's an Evangeline fan. Oh, that makes so much fucking sense. Oh my God, that makes so much fucking sense. Oh my God, he's an Evangeline. Yeah, that makes sense. That like everything like Caleb has done up until that, now it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. For me, I agree with Tony. I think Ghost in the Shell is probably my favorite.
I have not seen Ghost in the Shell, but Spirited Away. I know it's a basic bit answer because everyone says that's the greatest anime movie of all time, but Spirited Away is goated. Like
Spirited Away also really good. I mean, most of Hiroyuki. Well, why am I forgetting his name? It'll come to me. The Spirited Away and like I'm forgetting. Why am I forgetting his name?
Princess Mononoke.
No. The director. Anyway, this tells you how much I know about anime. I think this is where Fiona could step in and give you a lot more knowledge. Wasn't Ghost in the Shell...
I also really, in terms of non-Studio Ghibli, I do like Perfect Blue, and I also like Redline. Redline is really awesome. Although I think that's Korean, so that might not count. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh yeah, is Hayao Miyazaki. That's what I was.
Hayao Miyazaki, yeah. Who's also a fucking piece of shit, but like, you know,
he is. That's... I mean, I think he also is self-aware of that too. Like if you watch it, there's a documentary about it.
Like he like abused his family members, abused his workers, treated people like shit, is abhorrently sexist. I'm pretty sure he's racist too. So yeah, Hayao Miyazaki is like bottom of the barrel pile of garbage. So yeah. I couldn't get into Akira. I watched it and I'm like, I could tell, because the thing is, you can tell, like, watching Akira, I'm like, this is definitely based on a manga that is like fucking 1,000 billion pages long, because it felt so like, oh, we took this long ass manga and put it into like this movie that's like 2 hours, and it just felt I felt like I was missing so much information, and like it was like kind of bouncing on, like it was like getting punched in the face if it was a movie. Like, sure, the visuals are great, like, you know, you have the Akira slide, which is like one of the most popular things in like pop culture nowadays. I mean, Shadow did it in Sonic 3. So that's why I was like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you can tell that this was like, they put like 1/16 of like the manga into this movie, and it for me, it didn't work, even though I haven't read it. But I could tell watching it, I'm like, oh, this has way more information that I am clearly missing, but I'm not gonna fucking read the manga, so it's just like, oh, it's just an incomplete movie. So
yeah, by the way, I was gonna say Ghost in the Shell wasn't that like a Scarlett Johansson movie too, the 27th? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Also had some great stuff in there, similar to like 50 Shades of Grey, but anyway,
unless it was Jordan Peele, I trust him, but outside of that, no.
It's Princess Mononoke Letterboxd favorite animated movie. That's cool.
What's your favorite song at the moment?
Good question. We'll get back to you.
I mean, my favorite song of all time is Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. That's my favorite song from my favorite album.
Great question.
I don't know, I'm kind of on a Weird Al kick right now.
Right now I'm listening back to Project Hail Mary soundtrack. I mean, then I switched to F1 again. Then I listened to I'm Just Ken. What's the Harry Styles song? Right? What's the big one from Project Hail Mary? That's the one that I'm listening to a lot.
Yeah, Everything's All Right or something like that. I forget what the actual song is called.
It's Sign of the Times. Harry Styles.
Sign of the Times. Okay, great song. Love it. I mean, yeah, I don't have a specific like, oh my god, I'm listening to this song 24/7 type thing, but like I'm listening
at the moment
to Son by Rammstein. I've listened to a lot. I've listened to a lot of Weird Al's polka medleys, which are really fucking underrated. Like, I know like he's like the parody, but like his polka medleys are so fucking good. Like they're goated. But what else? I mean, nothing like is like the one moment right now, but my favorite song of all time, like period, never changes, and that's Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Although Stargazer by Rainbow is up there as well. That's probably my second favorite of all time.
I mean, my favorite song of all time is like a Bollywood song, so like you guys will probably have no idea what it is, so I'm not even gonna like really get into it too much, but I'm Just Ken is still like one of my favorite movie feature songs of the last 5 so years. Raindrops Keep Falling by BJ Thomas. I played Death Stranding 2 in the game, overused the song. Yeah, that's a good one. That's not a good one. Question from Justin Geeky Guy. Would you rather get rejected by Wonder Woman or ghosted by Black Canary?
I'd rather get ghosted because Wonder Woman might kill me. So
no, that's not Wonder Woman. I'd rather get rejected by Wonder Woman because, you know, I like to shoot for the stars. Because like if you get rejected by Wonder Woman, you might have a shot.
What do you say? Black Canary's a chump? What the fuck are you talking about? She wears fishnets like 24/7. Like,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if I'm not good enough for Wonder Woman, maybe Black Canary I'm good enough for. You know what I mean? Like you got to start like I'm saying if you're falling down the ladder.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Would you rather have Martian Manhunter telepathically broadcast your browser history, or have your browser history reviewed by Batman? Okay, you know what? Martian Manhunter, easily.
No, I'd rather have Batman. He'd be like, okay, like, all right, you're just an average dude. Like, okay. He probably already has like a contingent against like me for whatever.
Average dudes, yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. That's okay. Wonder Woman is acknowledging me at least. Yeah, I know exactly what I mean. I'm like, you know, you shoot for the stars. You start that high. A diamond level Wonder Woman versus Black Canary. You know, I'd love to get in the sheets with either of them. But you know what? You gotta aim high. Gotta aim high. So if you land a little bit lower, it's like, you up your floor a little bit. That's all I was saying. So Batman got dirt on you, Tony. Oh man, hopefully we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah. Oh my god, almost a 3-hour show. We still have fucking one more. If this isn't less than 30 minutes, I'm gonna fucking leave just after that because I'm like, I need to fucking sleep, bro.
Well,
this is not going past 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Please do submit your questions in the community post section. Of course, also in the comment section on this video, any video really, you can drop. We get them all in one place to take a look at, and then we'll bring them in for next Friday as well. But thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we do appreciate the like,
comment, subscribe, click the
notification bell.
So you know when we go live. Huzzah!
We're going back live in a few minutes with Fancast Friday. You guys voted for Oscar host, so you're getting it. So until then, see you later.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
And remember, as always and forever, fuck Tom King, fuck Jeff Snyder, and especially
Fuck Batman.
David Ellison. And fuck Batman. But not really. Anyway. Fuck Tom King's Batman.